What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
7BH. Chapter 156 Hefeng vs. Pillar 2 More. Advertisement. Senjujuma, who created the ninja world, wants to fight against the wind. On the branch of a towering tree, a man with white skin and short hair showed one half of his upper body, surrounded by white spikes, which looked somewhat similar to spring bamboo shoots. No one else, just Baiju. Since Shirazu brought the information of Hefeng to Madara Uchiha, he was assigned a special task by Madara to secretly monitor Hefeng's every move. However, he never thought of it. The original Naruto, the god of ninjas, Senjujutsu. Actually, we'll start a duel to Hefeng. This kind of thing is really an incredible event. Hefeng, what kind of monster is it? Baiju muttered to himself, couldn't help but vomit, and threw himself into the battle. He wants to record everything here. Then bring the information back to hell, tell Madara. Even, Shirazu seemed to have foreseen that Uchiha Madara would look surprised. But it is worth mentioning. Although the pillar room and the door room were not far from Baiju, he was not worried that they would find themselves. Even if the perception ability between the pillars and the door is really powerful. They also couldn't find Baiju. Now Baiju is using a kind of ninjutsu called Mayfly art, but he integrates his body with the vegetation of the earth and realizes high-speed movement through integration. During ninjutsu, he can cut off all breath. No matter how powerful it is, perceptual ability. Can't perceive Baiju either. Otherwise, he would not have been able to hide the ninja world for decades without being discovered. Since he won't be discovered by Zujian, Janjian, then Baiju has nothing to worry about. He was engrossed, watching the battle between the pillars and the wind. But, even though the strength of Hefeng is great, there is still no way to compare it with Zuma. In any case, he was in the Valley of the End and defeated Uchiha Madara. And Uchiha Madara at the time controlled Kyuubi with the power of the Riding Wheel Eyes. There is no doubt that it is not unreasonable that Zujian can be hailed as the god of ninjas. Baiju began to analyze in his heart. The growth rate of Zephyr is indeed amazing. It has only been 4 months since he was exposed to training. In the past 4 months, Hefeng has defeated the Golden Horns and Silver Horns, the Ghost Lanterns and the Magical Moon one after another. This kind of thing, looking at the entire shinobi world, is a shocking thing. But, between the pillars is not a Ghost Lantern or a moon, Golden Horns and Silver Horns. Through the comparison of intelligence, Baiju realized that even if it was a gentle breeze, he couldn't compare with Zujian now. This showdown, the breeze will lose. Advertisement. Furthermore, it is very likely to be killed by a spike between the columns. The premise is that the pillars are serious. In any case, Zujian is a gentle grandfather, not an enemy. It is not impossible to release water. Anyway, let's observe first. Baiju took a deep breath and stopped talking. At the same time, Feijian began to retreat, making enough space for the eldest brother Zujian and the gentle breeze. Both of them are ninjas who know how to use Mu-Dun. Presumably it will cause great damage here. However, I really look forward to the fight between Big Brother and Hefeng. Feijian's heart couldn't help becoming excited. Although he does not support Zujian doing this kind of thing while he is terminally ill, he still looks forward to the gentle performance. By the way, Hefeng is indeed a rare genius in thousands of years, but Big Brother is not bad either. If they are under the same conditions, Big Brother Zuma really may not be a gentleman's opponent. But now, Hefeng is only 7 years old, so it's impossible for him to be his opponent. Hefeng will lose in this duel. Feijian's eyes narrowed slightly, as if he had already foreseen the result. But many times, the result is not important. Come on and wind. Haori took off between the pillars, revealing solid muscles. Since returning to the end of the valley, he has never done anything with a ninja. You are the first one, gentle, don't let me down. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The moment the voice fell, the pillars seemed to have become another person. Let the breeze feel unfamiliar. He couldn't feel any funny temperament from the pillars. On the contrary, he felt that the expression on the pillars was extremely serious, and his whole body exuded a powerful aura. Swept toward yourself. Yes, it is. There was no need to do anything between the pillars, he just stood there. It can put a lot of pressure on the breeze. This is. End the Warring States period with one hand. Defeat Uchiha Madara several times. Establish Konoha Hidden Village. Seal the Tail Beast. Supervisor of the 5 Ninja Village Peace Agreement. A man known as the God of Ninjas. Sensho Zuma. Myself. Grandpa today. So strong. Hefeng stared at him, took out 120% of his attention, and then concentrated. So far, among the people I have defeated. Advertisement. Shimura Danzo. Metbi. Troy. Sarutobi Troops. Gold and Silver Horns and Silver. Ghost Lantern Magic Moon. There is no doubt that no ninja can compare with Senjujuma. It's on par. Even Hefeng couldn't help but chuckle, mocking himself for his innocence. Let alone compare with the pillars. Just put them together. It's just mere gravel, not as good as the half between the pillars. There is too much difference. It's simply the difference between cloud and mud. Just standing in front of the pillars, the gentle breeze can feel the pressure on his face. Let him not dare to shoot easily. Yes, it is. Sensho Zuma. It's such a terrible existence. Is this the strength of the first person under the 6 realms? It's just an aura, it's so exaggerated. Moreover, the pillars are different from ninjas like Ghost Lantern Huan Yu. As long as he knows his ninjutsu principle of steaming the pavilion, it is not difficult to deal with it. But between the pillars, even if he tells you his own intelligence, he can also use his powerful strength to rub you on the ground. What can you do with 2 hands? But, Hefeng, aren't you on it? Suddenly, the pillars did not wait for Hefeng to make a move, and simply raised his right leg and took a step forward. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. If the pillars go all out, use Shanfa Mu Dun True thousands of hands directly. This is, now that he accepted the request of Zujian, confront him. His heels landed gently, and a crack spread out from his feet, instantly forming a spider web-like trace. It's so scary. To be honest, Hefeng couldn't think of a way to crack this ninjutsu. The power between the 1,000 hands. He still has 998 hands anyway. Afraid, the corner of the wind mouth rose, and strange power burst out immediately, and the terrifying air flow spread out from his body in all directions, colliding with the aura between the pillars. The breeze is not a person who is afraid of his feet. Could it be that you are scared? Then he has no reason to be afraid. I don't have these 2 words in my words. Advertisement. Chapter 157 Strong collision between Senjuju. 3 more. Advertisement. What a strong chakra. After seeing the strange power of the peaceful wind erupting, the pillars did not hesitate at all. In the same way, they burst out of their own chakras, stirring up the air, and forming air currents. Boom. The 2 chakras collided strongly, not giving way to each other, bursting out even more terrifying power, spreading in all directions. Like a violent wind, it swept here in an instant. The big tree swayed, and even the woods appeared from the ground, and the leaves fluttered. The nerves on the side were stretched, and his steps retreated involuntarily, shocked by the scene in front of him. From his perspective, whether it is the gentle breeze or between the pillars, the body is covered with a layer of purple chakra at this time. It's like a coat, and under their feet is a cracked ground. This is just the effect of the 2 of them colliding with chakra. Not only the big brother, even the gentle chakra can achieve such a terrifying effect. Jian couldn't help but take a breath, he just knew Hefeng had a strange power before. But until today, he didn't realize how terrifying the strange power of Hefeng is. Actually, comparable with Big Brother, Hefeng is only 7 years old this year, and he has such an amazing amount of chakras. If he is given a few more years, his chakras will be terrifying. In fact, it's not just about time. Rizan, Mirror, Yan, Xiaochun, Danzo, and Baiju hiding in the dark. Everyone has a numb scalp at the moment, looking confused. Chakra, with the breeze breaking out, is evenly divided with Master Zuma. You're kidding, he's only 7 years old. Did he draw a tie with Master Zujian? The gentle chakra is really terrifying. What kind of monster was born between the pillars? Baiju in the dark couldn't help but vomit. If Uchiha Madara witnessed this scene with his own eyes, his mentality would just collapse. In Baiju's view, Hefeng's talent is simply unreasonable. At only 7 years old, the chakra volume is not lost. You know, Uchiha Madara at the peak of its heyday needs 9 tails to equal the amount of chakra between the pillars. This is not the same as saying, Waka's is only 7 years old, has he surpassed Uchiha Madara in the amount of chakra? This is too terrible. What an amazing chakra, gentle breeze. He looked at the breeze between the pillars, without concealing his shock. Among the ninjas he encountered, in the case of chakra measurement, there is no second person who can be compared with the wind. Even seeing the heroic grace of the Japanese wind, the heart of Zhu Jian couldn't help feeling regret. He really wants to live a few more years, until he grows up in a gentle manner. Advertisement. Become Hokage, ushering in his heyday. At that time, let's play with Hefeng again. I'm going to FK, gentle breeze. After completing Chakra's temptation, the eyes between the pillars became sharp, and his hands were lifted back, rushing toward the breeze. Come here. Hefeng held his breath, observing everything between the pillars intently. This battle is no small matter. The pillars are a ninja who will be affected by the rebirth of the dirty soil. Hefeng thought to himself. Normally, a ninja reincarnated from the dirty soil can gain immortality and unlimited chakras. It is equivalent to an enhancement. However, between the pillars, on the contrary, his strength will be limited by the rebirth of the unclean soil, so that he can't use thousands of hands and no seal to cure. Suffice to say, the difference between the pillars and the powerful strength. He is now compared to the period of the Fourth Ninja War. Even more horrible, just when Hefeng thought of this. The pillars have already rushed in front of him, with the hand hanging behind him, directly grabbing a fist with 5 fingers, and waving towards the gentle wind. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chakra is qualified. I don't know how your physical skills are, gentle. With a low growl between the pillars, he concentrated his chakra on his fist. Surprisingly, weird power. A punch rushes toward the gentle wind, swaying the air, forming a strong punch wind. The power of this punch is even more terrifying than Hefeng imagined. Compared with the pillars, Matbo's physical skills are simply not worth mentioning. However, Hefeng did not plan to dodge the ninja in front of me. But Senjujuma, that first-generation Naruto, the first person under the 6 realms. Zefeng's mood is on the rise. Zefeng's eyes were feverish. Hefeng's mood is in excitement. He is eager to collide with the pillars. In that case, then I will come too. The wind roared towards the pillars, his 5 fingers clenched into fists, and the chakra was precisely concentrated on the fists. He used the horror ninjutsu that was supposed to be Tsunade's improvement. Cherry blossoms. Advertisement. Hefeng deliberately aimed at the fist between the pillars and greeted him. Boom. With a loud noise, the wind and the fist between the pillars collided. A terrifying air current spreads out like ripples in all directions. Compared with the previous chakra clash, I don't know how many times it is majestic. The ground was cracked, the flying rocks rolled around, and the tree closest to the two of them was uprooted. With just one punch, such a situation was formed. Is this the power of Hefeng now? Jian looked horrified, in disbelief. He knows the strength of the pillars very well. And he felt that even if it was a terminally ill elder brother who burst out with such power, it was not something worth making a fuss about. After all, he is the god of ninjas. However, Hefeng not only collided strongly with the pillars, but also did not show a tendency to rout. This kind of thing has simply subverted the cognition between the two. The current Zephyr, it turned out to be. Is it so strong? He is only 7 years old. Happiness. Tsunade, in his arms, couldn't help clapping his hands, his eyes gleaming as if they were emitting light. Hefeng's handsome figure deeply attracted her. Just like, Hefeng is the most handsome person in the world. I have to say that the performance of the Japanese style surpassed everyone's expectations. Rijin, Mirror, Yan, Xiaochun, Danzo, and Baiju. None of them expected that the situation would be like this. That Japanese style, who was only 7 years old, actually followed the original Hokage who was known as the god of ninja. World War I. Have equal shares. This is too bad. The most terrifying thing is that it has only been 4 months since the training of Japanese wind contact. In only 4 months, did he have the strength to be equal to Master Zujian? This kind of thing is too horrible. Yeah, this is simply shocking. You said, Lord between the pillars, shouldn't you lose? Xiaochun rolled her throat, and when she saw it, her mind started to pop up. The idea of losing between the pillars. Even she herself felt surprised that she would have such an idea. You know, Hefeng is only 7 years old this year. No matter how terrifying he is, he won't be the opponent between the pillars, right? No way, no way. Chapter 158 Shocking the post-column physical surgery, 4 more. Advertisement. Bang. A punch, a strong collision. In the next second, the breeze and the pillars quickly separated and moved a distance away from each other. The breeze shook his fist. The physical skills between the pillars are so terrifying. Hefeng couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Shimama didn't make many appearances in Naruto. When fighting, he basically used wooden dune flat push, and rarely used physical skills. Now that he experienced it personally, Hefeng realized how terrible the pillars were. With the punch just now, my finger felt painful, as if I was about to fracture. Not bad, Hefeng actually blocked my physical skills. The pillars praised Hefeng, but he did not give Hefeng a chance to rest. The moment the voice fell, he kicked his feet between the pillars and rushed towards the breeze again. The third door, the life door, open. At the critical moment, Breeze clenched his fists with both hands to guide the flow of chakra and rush to the restriction in the body. Make yourself chakra like a river running to the sea, continuously breaking through 3 restrictions. Hefeng's body began to engorge, his skin turned from white to red, and the blue veins on his forehead burst out, exuding a burst of green energy, covering his whole body. Even the wind's hair began to stand up. Strength and speed have been increased exponentially. Bang! With a loud noise, the wind retreated and saw the fist between the pillars hit the ground directly. The whole ground was covered with spider web-like cracks, and flying rocks rolled over. Fast speed. The column raised his head and locked the position of the wind. The 8 doors of Dunjia art. The corners of the mouth between the pillars rose up, and the scene of the harmony between the 8-door Dunjia and the Madbo was evenly divided, which he has vividly remembered until now. At that time, I was really excited. At that time, I was really surprised. I didn't expect you to be evenly matched with Materby. You know, you are only 7 years old. While speaking, the pillars chased out toward the gentle wind. However, Hefeng did not rush to respond to the column. Although Shungman improved his power, speed, he wanted to defeat the ninja god between the pillars with this degree. Even Hefeng feels unrealistic. I have to be stronger. Hefeng's eyes became extremely sharp, he looked directly at the pillars, and continued to guide chakra inside his body, surging towards the limit. The 4th door, close the door, open. The 5th door, Duman, open. Advertisement. 2 restrictions were opened by the gentle wind. However, his current body is under the training of Madbo's devil training method. The muscles have been strengthened dozens of times from the beginning. Today's breeze can fully adapt to the state of the sect. Do not. It's not just Duman. Hefeng shook his head. If it were me now, even Jingmun would be able to adapt. The 6th door, Jingmun, open. As the wind broke through the 6th restriction in his body, his aura found earth-shaking changes. I have not used this state for a long time to fight others. Hefeng spread out his palms and clenched his fists again, feeling that power was continuously emerging from his body. At the same time, Hefeng's heels landed in midair. His movements didn't stop in the slightest, and the whole person flew out like an arrow. Moment. The ground at the foot of the gentle wind shattered. This battle made everyone who witnessed it breathe a sigh of relief. Is this the power of Baman Dunjia? Danzo's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but recall the time Hefeng fought against him. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Just a punch from the Dooman state made him feel the crisis of death. Now the sixth gate, Jingmun. What kind of horror should it be? The breeze is stronger than before. Rizan rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. He suddenly discovered that the muscle strength of the current breeze is not even a bit stronger than before. Now he has completely mastered the state of Jingmun. It will no longer be the same as when dealing with Troy. After using the King Gate again, the whole person will be unable to move because of the severe pain. It's really scary, Captain Hefeng. Uchiha Mirror directly opened the riding wheel eye, and then surprisingly discovered that it was moving at high speed in the breeze. He couldn't catch his riding wheel. Yes, it is. His riding wheel eyes cannot capture the gentle movement. This is a rider. Hefeng's current physical skills, can anyone really stop it? As soon as this question came up, Jing was stupid. Hefeng's opponents are not ordinary people. It is the first Hokage who established Konoha Hidden Village. A man known as the God of Ninjas. How could I have this idea? Advertisement. This does not mean that in his subconscious, he no longer thinks that the physique between pillars can suppress the wind. What a joke. Hefeng, isn't he just 7 years old? Hefeng's 8-door Dunjia, will you face the strange power of your elder brother? Muttered to himself, stunned by the scene in front of him. This battle far exceeded his expectations. Unexpectedly, both sides are so serious. Boom. The breeze and the pillars fight together again, you come and I meet, fists and feet greet each other. However, Hefeng is surprisingly discovering the visual dynamics between the columns. Actually, able to keep up with your own speed. Now I opened the sixth gate, but I couldn't escape the sight between the pillars. He didn't write round eyes. Painful. When this question arises, the gentle breeze leaps up, lifts his right leg high above his head, and slams it down between the pillars. The combat power in the scene gate state is fully opened, plus Tsunade's improved strange power effect. The two violent physical powers complement each other, bursting out even more terrifying power. This time, he didn't even use his arms to resist between the columns. His current physical power is too amazing. It's not broken. A wooden shield with fangs and grimace envelops the columns. Only glanced between the pillars, he quickly raised his hands and patted hard. No matter how you look at it, Zujian doesn't think this is the power that a 7-year-old child should have. Even the 9-tailed beast Jade, the ranking technique that couldn't be destroyed, was kicked like this by the Hefeng physical technique. However, there were only cracks on the top. Mu done the skill of ranking. Rumble. The aching feet of the gentle breeze hit the wooden escape between the pillars. Jingmun's combat power is full and strange power, can't it be broken? In an instant, the pillars plunged his chakra into the ground, forming a wooden escape, opening the ground under his feet. Immediately, with the help of the reaction force, the breeze jumped up and stopped in the air. Hefeng's eyes widened, marveling at the uniqueness of the wooden escape between the pillars. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Is this the current Zephyr? It's so powerful. However, it is just the wind, the power of today. The shield also opened between the pillars, and he only glanced outside and was shocked on the spot. Chapter 159 Give your hands a slap, what to call, 5 more. Advertisement. Hefeng and Zhu tentatively test each other, it seems that he doesn't have any advantage, but in fact, he has the upper hand. In the physical match between the two of them, it was the wooden escape that the pillars used first. In order to block the painful feat in the state of the 8 gates of the Japanese wind. Zujian glanced at the damage of the ranking technique, and his heart was shocked. When he and Uchiha Madara fought in the Valley of End, the ranking technique was even blocked by the power of the tail beast Jade. If you are kicked by the gentle wind, I am afraid that few people can withstand this power. From the perspective of Zujian, a ninja who is not strong enough will be killed by the wind. And this is just the power he showed when he was 7 years old. If it is in the future, I can hardly imagine it. To be honest, if I forcibly took the kick just now with my arm, I might not be safe. The pillars thought to himself. Although he has the ability to heal by Muji, his current body is not what it used to be. After the war in the Valley of the End, he was terminally ill. Every time you use Muji to cure, it will aggravate the terminal illness. Otherwise, the column will not use the ranking technique to resist the pain of the wind. Hefeng has also noticed this faintly. Hefeng, your physical skills are really amazing. I think no one in the village today can compete with your physical skills. But, the battle between ninjas is not just a physical contest. Once you encounter an enemy on the battlefield, every ninja will use all his strength to destroy the opponent. From the perspective of Zhu Jian, Hefeng's physical skills are already strong enough. The next content to be compared is ninjutsu. Baiju in the distance immediately concentrated his attention, his eyes glowed, and he found that the chakra between the pillars was condensing towards his hands. It looks like ninjutsu is going to be used between the pillars. Bai definitely couldn't help but sigh. The ninjutsu between the pillars is simply pleasing to the eye. Therefore, all people who have witnessed his power regard him as the first person under the 6 realms. However, after Uchiha Madara started his plan, in the entire ninja realm, there is no one who can compete with the pillars. He hasn't done anything with anyone for a long, long time. Now, because of the relationship with the wind, Zuma wants to show his ninjutsu. Such an opportunity, once encountered, one less. I must bear witness to the strength between the pillars. Advertisement. Click. I saw a strong slap with both hands between the pillars, making a crisp sound. Be careful with the wind, even if it's you, I won't let the water go. As soon as the voice fell, the ground of the entire exercise field began to vibrate. Upon seeing this, he decisively used the technique of instantaneous body and landed on a branch on the side to observe the battle. He wasn't worried that the battle between the pillars and the wind would affect him. He was afraid that their power would accidentally hurt Tsunade. In any case, Tsunade is still just a baby. Here, the unique skill between the pillars is coming. Hefeng took a deep breath and was mentally prepared. To be honest, just putting your hands together between the pillars can make Hefeng feel a sense of oppression. After all, anyone who knows a little about the pillars knows it. He is a ninja who slapped his hands and shouted, "Mu Dun, the tree realm is coming." Soon, between the pillars, the water escape and the earth escape are merged to form a wooden escape chakra, which goes deep into the earth. Let the already devastated earth become more tragic. Countless vines emerged from the gap, growing crazily at a speed visible to the naked eye, becoming thick, big and hard, and heading toward the breeze. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It is one of the best mud and unique skills in the Sensho Zujian. The tree world has come. Hefeng's eyes condensed, and his body gradually fell slowly from the air. If this is the case, then I will fight with all my strength. He blew a low roar, clenched his fists with both hands at the same time, aimed at the tree world below, and began to punch frantically. His attack speed is getting faster and faster, and the fist wind rubs against the air, directly producing flames, galloping downwards. Each one is extremely dazzling, like a fireball, bombarding the tree world. Exactly, towards the peacock. The sixth gate, the full burst of power in the state of the king gate. At this moment, Hefeng has no reservations, trying to release his strength. The sea of trees created between the pillars was suppressed by the power of the gentle wind. Its amazing physical skills. His eyes widened between the pillars, and he stood blankly on the spot. He feels a gentle posture, so handsome. It's like a shining sun. He firmly believes that Konoha Hidden Village in the future will be able to be led by Hefeng. Usher in the heyday. Advertisement. Perhaps, Hefeng will make a great contribution to this world. Even change the entire ninja world. Neither Uchiha Madara nor I can find an answer. Maybe one day, you can find out, K's. Seeing the look of the Japanese breeze, Zhu Jian's heart felt relieved. And the contest between the tree world and the North Korean peacock caused an uproar. The gentle Chow peacock actually suppressed the arrival of Big Brother's tree world. There was a stunned look in the door, which was shocked and unacceptable. No matter how you look at this kind of thing, he feels terrible. Hefeng is only 7 years old. How outrageous is his life? It's true, I didn't read it wrong, right? Uchiha Kami, who was hiding behind the woods, rubbed his eyes vigorously, and now he couldn't help but start to wonder if something was wrong with his writing wheel. Otherwise, why would he see such an exaggerated scene? The tree boundary of the Lord between the pillars descended. Was suppressed by the gentle breeze. How could this kind of thing be possible? This battle is really wonderful. Sarutobi Hizen couldn't help exclaiming. He originally thought that although the current Japanese style is very strong, it is compared with Master Zhu Jian. It is still farewell. As long as Master Pillar goes all out, this battle will end immediately. But who knows, Hefeng's performance far exceeded their expectations. Rizan even felt that even Master Zujian and Master Feijian would never think of it. The situation will suddenly change into this. From the collision of chakra to the confrontation on strange power. The battle in physical skills, and now, the battle in ninjutsu. Each round, the gentleman performed well. It's hard to believe that today's Hefeng is only 7 years old. Sarutobi Hizen paused for a while, although he was very jealous of having this kind of talent in his heart, he had to admit that. He fights between the pillars. Simply pleasing to the eye. Regardless of the final result, Hefeng proved himself. Even in the face of legends like Senjujuma, he, 7 years old, is not without the ability to fight. However, in a gentle state, it shouldn't last long. Rizan took a deep breath. After all, the damage to the body by the 8-door Dunjia is really too great. Chapter 160 Madara, do you see how good my grandson is? One more. Advertisement. The gentle breeze kept waving his fists and used the peacock to meet the tree boundary between the pillars. Although Hefeng has mastered Mu Dun through the punch card package, but regarding Mu Dun's ninjutsu, he only has 3 kinds. One of them is still the 4 pillars family art with little combat ability. The wooden man and the wooden dragon. When dealing with this kind of ninjutsu in the tree world, the effect should be mediocre. However, Hefeng did not intend to use the power of the peacock to destroy all the tree boundary between the pillars. He took himself as the center, and shattered the tree realm below a certain range. After about 5 or 6 breaths, the wind stopped punching and fell towards the ground. Although I am able to adapt to the damage caused by the peacock compared to the time when Troy fought, if I continue, my Muji will probably not be able to catch up with the damage. If the healing speed cannot catch up with the damage speed, then I will show flaws because of the pain. Facing a ninja like Senjujuma. Even if it is only a second, countless possibilities will happen. Hefeng squatted on the ground, surrounded by wooden shelters between pillars. He put his fingers together, pressed them on the ground, closed his eyes, opened Kagura's eyes, and felt between the pillars. This is wooden dragon technique. Suddenly, Hefeng's eyes widened, and he felt a majestic chakra coming towards him. The tree boundary made with wooden escape between the pillars was instantly raised to the ground by this force. A lifelike wooden escape dragon, spreading its teeth and dancing claws, wriggling its body recklessly, rushing towards the breeze. In that case, then I will come too. Seeing it in the wind, they confronted Zhu Jian with ninjutsu. Click. Hefeng slapped his hands with both hands and used his wooden escape. Mu done the art of the wooden man. Then the whole earth rumbling, cracks layer by layer, and a giant wooden dragon soared into the sky. As soon as the wooden dragon between the pillars was about to bite the gentle wind, the wooden dragon opened a big mouth, bit its neck with one bite, and continued to rise into the sky. The two wooden dragons ascended together, fought together, and kept their bodies entangled with each other, trying to solve each other with brute force. The tree boundary raised to the ground by them revealed the position between the pillars. Hefeng looked around, ignoring the two wooden dragons fighting each other. He clearly saw that the whole person between the pillars was stunned in place, and a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. It is not difficult to see that Zhu Jian was shocked by the Hefeng Yulong. Although I heard that Hefeng inherited my wooden escape technique, he did not expect that his wooden escape was so powerful. Between the pillars could not help feeling in his heart. Advertisement. The opponent's wooden dragon is almost the same as his wooden dragon. No one can do nothing. When I was 7, I didn't even know what Mu Dun was. Do not. The column shook his head. Don't say it's 7 years old. At the age of 15, I didn't even know that Mu Dun existed. Otherwise, at that time, he would definitely cry in front of Madara every day. Madara, look at you, look at it, I pinched a dragon with Mu Dun. I pinched a tree with wooden escape. I used Mu Dun to pinch a flower. I use Mu Dun. Bu. Thinking of this, Zhu Jian felt a momentary nostalgia. If Uchiha Madara is still alive now, and he doesn't disagree with his ideals, that would be great. If Madara is still alive, he must be able to see the hope of peace in Hefeng. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He is a better ninja than Madara and me. Maybe one day, the gentle breeze can change the world, bringing real peace to everyone. Thinking of this, the pillars raised his head and looked up at the sky at an angle of 45 degrees. Mara, have you seen it, today's breeze? Although he is only 7 years old, he is already a ninja who can be alone. Within 10 years, no, within 5 years, Hefeng will definitely become Hokage. The answer that neither you nor I can find, Hefeng will definitely be able to find it out. The current column, very hopeful that Madara can appear in front of him and hear his own voice. Witness the growth of Hefeng. Only 7 years old, he has mastered Mu Dun so well. Unfortunately, Madara Uchiha is gone. He will never know how good my grandson is. However, just when there was a lot of emotion between the pillars. Gentle, hands-on. Since Zuma had already started fighting ninjutsu with herself, she had nothing left to keep. Mu Dun the art of the wooden man. Advertisement. The gentle breeze beats both hands to inject the chakra into the earth, forming a wooden escape. Countless vines grew crazily under his feet, becoming thick and big, and then gathered together. Formed a tall wooden man with a hideous face and a vicious look. Under the control of Hefeng's consciousness, the wooden man opened his 5 fingers, grabbed the wooden dragon made between the pillars, locked its neck with one hand, and then stretched out the other hand to grab the wooden dragon's tail. With 2 hands violently, the wooden dragon between the pillars was torn to pieces. Immediately afterwards, the breezy wooden dragon galloped, wrapped around the waist of the wooden man, opened its huge mouth, and roared towards the pillars on the ground. Hefeng kicked his feet, jumped on the shoulders of the wooden man, and looked down at the pillars. If it's just a fight against Pinmu, I don't have much hope of winning, but today I am not the only one who is unique in Mu Dun. At the same time as the wind voice fell, he condensed the chakra into his palm, and then began to rotate in an irregular direction. The light blue chakra appeared from his palm, looking like a stream of air condensed together. 2 or 3 breaths, these chakras are compressed by the high density of the gentle wind, forming a chakra ball. It's just spiral pill. Then, Hefeng's gaze narrowed slightly. Just when he was fighting the body art between the pillars, he secretly marked the flying thunder god and left it on the pillars. This means that the current Zephyr can use the teleportation of the thunder god technique. Then, pat his hands between the pillars. A huge head broke through the ground and raised his feet between the pillars, slowly raising him. The heart between the pillars was extremely happy, wooden. But, otherwise, with his reaction speed, he can probably defend in time. Hefeng. The name of Hefeng shouted between the pillars, driving the wooden man to take a step forward. Launch an unexpected attack between Ling Zujian. But the premise is that the front can attract the line of sight between the pillars. He is the god of ninja, the first person under the 6 realms. Simply resorted to the technique of the wooden man. This is the tactic of the gentle wind. The column. Hefeng responded to the column with the same volume, and then controlled the wooden man to charge. Although the person standing in front of him is the grandfather of his world. Between the pillars raised his head, met the gaze of the wind, and watched him stand on the shoulders of the wooden man so well now. Hefeng didn't plan to lose to him so easily. Probably in a shock. Chapter 161 Shocking Power, 2 more. Advertisement. In Hefeng's view, the wooden figure between him and the pillars is simply the wooden man with a high degree of relief. Every step taken will cause the whole earth to shake. Soon, the 2 wooden men raised their fists at the same time and bombarded each other. Bang, bang, fist to the flesh, no one has the tendency to shrink. However, Zujian noticed Hefeng's right hand. That is the spiral pill. The eyes between the pillars narrowed slightly, watching Hefeng's spiral pill. He had heard about Helix Maru before then. What an amazing ninjutsu developed by Hefeng. Not only is it powerful, but it also doesn't need to be printed. If you can learn the art of Flying Thunder God and cooperate with Helix Maru, it will definitely make the enemy ninjas frightened. At that time, the pillars still felt that his younger brother was overcompensating for the brain. It's a bit of a mythology. However, it now appears. It's not that I overestimated the breeze, but I underestimated the breeze. Did he develop such terrible ninjutsu when he was only 7 years old? Even in the eyes of the pillars. The spiral pills developed by Hefeng are terrible. That ninjutsu called Helix Maru is like a tail beast jade. Through careful observation, Zujian surprisingly discovered that the spiral pill held by Hefeng was a replica of the tail beast jade. If this ninjutsu was developed in time, I wouldn't be so surprised. However, the person who developed it turned out to be a 7-year-old Zephyr. At this moment, Zhu Jian felt that his knowledge of ninjutsu development had collapsed. How does Hefeng's brain grow? The 7-year-old child of someone else's family is still thinking about what to eat at noon today. Gentle. Develop the spiral pill. Moreover, this ninjutsu has a lot of room for development. Through observation, I noticed between the columns that Hefeng's spiral pill had not added the chakra attribute change. It's just a technique formed by simply condensing chakra. If the chakra attribute change can be added, it may be able to make the spiral pill's destructive power improved several times. Do not, maybe dozens of times. It's amazing. From the perspective of Zujian, Hefeng simply found a unique method. Let the ninja without the power of the tail beast gain the power comparable to the tail beast jade. Although Zujian usually looks a little foolish, his analytical ability is not only not weak, but very strong. Advertisement. With just one glance, he saw the ninjutsu helix pill thoroughly. However, to be able to create a spiral pill, you must have the ability to precisely control the chakra. Furthermore, the requirements that helix pill needs are more terrifying than strange power. Without any exaggeration, even the Thousand Hands clan who mastered strange power. Not necessarily, you can learn the ninjutsu helix pill. At this moment, the heart between the pillars could not help but set off a stormy sea. He wished that he wanted to reincarnate Uchiha Madara with dirty soil and let him see it with his own eyes. Today's Zephyr. How horrible. Of course, the pillars are at best thinking about it in my heart. After all, the ninjutsu of unholy land reincarnation, in his eyes, not only desecrated the dead. And it's too much for the living. But, not every ninja possesses the powerful analytical capabilities of the pillars. For the current Sun Slash, Mirror, Danzo, Shaochun, Yan, these people. The gentle breeze of Mu Dun is more shocking to them than his spiral pill. Hefeng and Master Zujian are evenly divided. Jing stared wide at the writing wheel, with an incredible expression on his face. Although he knew in his heart that Hefeng was very strong, but the fact that it was comparable to the original Hokage who established the Konoha hidden village was still far beyond his expectation and recognition. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. How is this possible? Danzo rolled his throat, extremely reluctant to admit the facts in front of him. Gentle. Only 7 years old, right? Whether it is strength, speed, physical strength, chakra volume, and the release of ninjutsu. His physical foundation should be far inferior to the Lord between the pillars. This kind of battle should be a one-sided situation. How could it be a close battle? It's incredible. Incredible. The Whirlpool bloodline. Suddenly, Danzo thought to himself as if he realized something. Correct. Maelstrom bloodline. It must be of Maelstrom bloodline. The most obvious feature of the Whirlpool family is the long lifespan and the amazing amount of chakras. And in Hefeng's body, there is a quarter of his blood, which comes from his grandmother, Uzumaki Mito. Mito is the princess of the Uzumaki country, and her bloodline is undoubtedly the best of the Uzumaki clan. From Uzumaki Mito alone, he can become the Kyuubi Joss force. And it can be seen that Kyuubi has never run away. Whirlpool Mito is not a fuel-efficient lamp. Advertisement. Today's Japanese style perfectly inherits the advantages of Zuma and Mito. This is an excellent and powerful gene. Only let the wind, the first battle, and Senjutsu are evenly divided. It must be so. Tuan Zhang couldn't help clenching his fists. He felt that the answer must be the same as he had guessed. Otherwise, how to explain that the gentle wooden escape is not inferior to the pillars? Any ninjutsu will become stronger and stronger as the number of battles increase and training experience increases. Sarutobi Hitoshi said slowly. His eyes were full of shock. Master Zhu Jian, who has experienced the Warring States period, undoubtedly has a real combat experience far beyond that of ordinary people, and his combat thinking is also quite rich. According to Rizhen's cognition, he really couldn't think of the reason why the wooden escape of Master Zujian would be inferior to Hefeng. But, the wooden escape of the Lord between the pillars can't help but be gentle. Did not have the slightest upper hand. This kind of thing is too exaggerated. You know, Hefeng is only 7 years old. And it was just not long after Mu Dun awakened. How could his Mu Dun be so strong? Not scientific at all. No. Feijian frowned suddenly. He and Zuma had walked from the Warring States period to the ninja era. It's not unreasonable that he, who is the younger brother, understands Zhu Jian. The Mu Dun between the eldest brother pillars looked at the entire ninja realm, and there was no rival at all. He is a ninja who has cultivated wood to the extreme. Impossible, it will be suppressed by the gentle wood escape. This is, what happened? Does it really mean that Hefeng's wooden escape technique has surpassed Big Brother? But how is this kind of thing possible? Even in the interim, I didn't want to believe it in my heart. In other words, it is unbelievable. The pillars have always been the god in his mind. The strongest in the entire ninja world. Even a ninja like Uchiha Madara was defeated by Big Brother Zuma. Today, he is only 7 years old. World War I. Share with the eldest brother. What a joke. This is not the same as saying, if he was given some more time, he would be able to surpass the pillars. Big Brother has only mastered the power for decades, and has been in a gentle breeze for a few months. Exceeded. This is too ridiculous. Chapter 162 Burst It, Helix Pill. 3 more. Advertisement. In the end, who is the god of ninja? Every ninja present couldn't help but have such doubts in his heart. According to their knowledge, he is known as the god of ninjas, a man with unmatched power. It should be Senju Zuzuma, this first generation of Hokage, who built Konoha Hidden Village in one hand. But now, Hefeng, who is only 7 years old, is even on par with him. If you don't see it with your own eyes, who can believe it? Who can believe it? On the one hand, it was the Hokage pillar, who had frustrated countless powerful enemies all the way from the Warring States period. On the other side, it took only 4 months from the training to the present to be promoted to the 7-year-old Japanese style who was particularly shinobu. Everyone, including Fajian, thought that this would be a battle that was so different in strength that there was no suspense. Senjujuma will defeat the Japanese wind with overwhelming power. But who knows, the battle passed every minute and every second. The wooden escape technique between the pillars can't help but be gentle. Simply outrageous. If Madara knows about this, his mood will definitely get worse. Baiju, who was observing secretly, couldn't help but complain. Before that, he had mastered some information about Hefeng. For example, how he defeated the Golden Horn and Silver Horn. How to beat the Ghost Lantern Moon. Whether it is combat thinking or actual combat experience. All made Baiju's eyes light up, completely unable to see that Hefeng was only 7 years old and had just become a ninja. But, it's different among the Thousand Hands pillars. He was in the Valley of the End, and with his own power, he defeated Uchiha Madara who had joined forces with Kyuubi. Although Nine Tails didn't do anything about the Golden Horn and Silver Horn, but the Golden Horn and Silver Horn didn't beat Nine Tails. Not to mention Uchiha Madara's power, even more terrifying than Kyuubi. There is no doubt that the combat power between the pillars is the ceiling of the ninja world. It's stronger than Uchiha Madara. However, now he has a tie with Hefeng. Doesn't this mean that the Zephyr, who is only 7 years old, is stronger than Uchiha Madara? Baiju seemed to have foreseen it, and Uchiha Madara's face became extremely ugly. Suddenly, the defensive power of the two wooden men reached their limit, and their bodies began to fall apart under the constant confrontation. Hefeng and Zujian respectively fell from their wooden figures towards the ground. It's now. Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and the moment he grasped the line of sight between the pillars and glanced at the ground, he activated the foreshadowing he had planted long ago. The art of Flying Thunder God. Threw the Flying Thunder God mark left on the pillar. The gentle breeze disappeared in place immediately, and in an instant, it flashed behind Zujian. Advertisement. Face this ninja god. Hefeng did not dare to be careless, let alone release the water. Joke. It is Uchiha Madara who dare not release water in front of the pillars. Therefore, at the moment when the Flying Thunder God technique was successfully activated, the wind directly pushed the spiral pill in his hand and hit the shoulder between the pillars. Boom. With a loud noise, the spiral pill exploded directly, and the majestic power poured out. As the upper body was exposed between the pillars, his body was directly corroded by the power of the spiral pill, and it spun uncontrollably in midair. This is the art of Flying Thunder God. Zhu Jian's eyes widened, and he never expected that Hefeng would use the Flying Thunder God technique developed by Fei Jian so freely. So much so that there is no defense between the pillars. Bang! There was another loud noise like thunder. The body between the pillars is like a kite with a broken line, shooting straight on the ground. This sudden scene made everyone unexpected, including the Japanese style. He stared blankly at his empty palm. My Flying Thunder God, does it work? Hefeng's eyes are full of incredible. The god known as the ninja. I am willing to be called the strongest man by Uchiha Madara. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi by myself. A spiral pill flew out. No way, no way, it won't be so easy, will it? I am only 7 years old. But, whether it's the hand feel or anything else, the gentle breeze is really felt. His spiral pill really hit the pillar. Also, the fact that the pillars fly upside down and hit the ground is also a fact. Big brother. His eyes widened in the door, as if the eyeballs would jump out at any time. His jaw was astonished as if he was about to fall to the ground. Without any exaggeration. For the picture in front of me, there is no surprise at all. Risen, Mirror, Yan, Xiaochun, and Danzo. Not to mention a few of them. The picture in front of them shocked their hearts to a great extent. As if at this moment, their cognition of this world was all shattered with the helix pill of the gentle breeze. Didn't I really have some illusion? Jing rubbed the eyes of the riding wheel vigorously. The one who flew out just now was the master between the pillars. Not the gentle wind. No, you don't have a hallucination, because I also saw the picture of the master between the pillars flying upside down. Xiaochun said angrily. Advertisement. She raised her head again and looked at the small figure of Hefeng. She didn't know that Hefeng was a genius. But, no matter how genius, there must be a limit, right? Defeated the Lord between the pillars when he was only 7 years old. No matter how she thinks about this kind of thing, she feels outrageous. It's too ridiculous. Gentle style. Rizan muttered Hefeng's name, and then sat down on the ground with a plop. His eyes were bigger than bull's eyes. Compared with the current Japanese style, he felt that he was simply a waste. What were you doing when you were 7? Still in school. Who is still jumping high and far with Danzo? And what is Hefeng doing at the age of 7? Fighting against the original Naruto. In addition, he also used his own ninjutsu to take the first generation of Naruto master into the air. How can this kind of thing be shocked? The whole person is going to be stupid. However, among these, the most shocked and win power. There is nothing more than Senjuzuzuma himself. Others are just watching. But he took this ninjutsu sturdily. Hefeng, this guy really doesn't show any mercy at all. The whole person between the pillars lay directly on the ground, and couldn't help but complain. What kind of monster came out when he was hit by a Japanese spiral pill? Myself. There are many effects that ninjutsu can't achieve. Frowning between the columns, he suddenly noticed after receiving the spiral pill with his body. But, the Japanese style of ninjutsu is not only powerful, it doesn't require seals. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. The Japanese spiral pill can disrupt other people's chakras. It's really ruthless to start. Mito. For a while between the pillars, he was completely shocked. And, how on earth did he develop such a terrible ninjutsu? Wrong. Anyway, I am a grandfather. It was found between the pillars that his chakra turned out to be. There is no sign of disorder. Chapter 163 next time, gentle, 4 more. Advertisement. Although Hefeng's Helix Maru didn't have much influence on him, if he was replaced by another ninja. I'm afraid that he will be killed by a spiral pill on the spot. In fact, even the Chinshujujian had spent 5 or 6 breaths on the ground before resuming the chakra flow. He moved his hand and pressed it to the ground, supporting his body to stand up. The damage caused by the spiral pill on his body began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. It's just Muji cures. When the pillars stood up completely, he seemed to have not suffered any harm. Click. Hefeng landed on both feet, stood firm, and looked at it, could not help but marvel at the resilience between the pillars. Honestly, I didn't find Uchiha Madara biting her own meat between the pillars, it was because of the healing of Muji. Hefeng thought to himself. Hefeng, your strength really exceeds my cognition. Among the ninjas I have encountered, no one can compare to you. However, my strength is far more than this. There was a low voice between the pillars, and his expression became more serious than before. Click. Seeing a slap of his hands between Senjuzuzu, he began to frantically absorb the natural energy around him. Combine with his chakras and transform into fairy chakras. On the forehead between the pillars and the position of the eyes, black lines appeared. There is no doubt that it is Shanfa Shanren mode. Zefeng. Good guys. The breeze screams good guys. After being hit by a spiral pill by himself, the fairy mode is going to be opened between the pillars. Don't tell me, you still plan to let me see, really thousands of hands. I'm not Uchiha Madara. Hefeng couldn't help but complain. Then, he heard the words between the pillars. Shanfa Mu done true number. Hefeng's eyes widened in an instant, and his brain seemed to be running at a speeding speed at this moment, reminding him of at least 100 coping methods. Hefeng took a breath, concentrated on it, and stared at the column. He seemed to be able to foresee what would happen next. And, Hefeng's heart had a very bad feeling. However, the final, 1,000 hands, was not uttered between the pillars. Advertisement. Because of his fairy pattern, it faded quickly and slowly disappeared. Immediately after, pouch, there was a squirt between the pillars, but it was not a ninjutsu that sprayed out, but a mouthful of old blood. This sudden scene was startled. Next second, a flying thunder god technique stood in front of Hefeng, threw Tsunade to him, and then flashed to the pillars. Before the column collapsed, the door held his arm. Zefeng, Rizan and others. Baiju observing all this secretly. Everyone did not expect that blood would suddenly spurt between the pillars. Zefeng holds Tsunade in both hands. Now Tsunade, who is less than a year old, is very cooperative with the wind, snails his thumbs, does not cry or make trouble, and is quiet. The breeze is stunned. My spiral pill, isn't it that exaggerated? I just used the most common spiral pill, and it vomited blood between the columns. It is difficult for Hefeng to understand the current situation. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He didn't think that the attack of Helix pill just now would be so powerful. Can severely hurt the column to this degree. Moreover, doesn't he have the ability to heal without seals? When he just got up from the ground, he obviously repaired the damage caused by Helix pill. Rizan, Danzo, Xiaochun, Yan, Mirror. At this time, they couldn't bear it, and they rushed out of the woods one after another, worried about the situation between the pillars. In fact, the hiding place of a few of them has long been discovered by the wind, the door, and the pillar. It's just not broken. Now I see them suddenly appearing. They are not surprised at all. Hefeng hesitated for a moment, then took a step forward, walked to the pillars, and asked what was going on. Nothing to do with you. I said without thinking about it, and realized that what I was expressing was easy to misunderstand, so I quickly explained. It has nothing to do with your spiral pill. The damage caused by your ninjutsu has been repaired by your grandpa with Muji. Just. Fei Jian stared at the pillar with a black line on his face. Big brother, you are also true. What is your current body condition? Don't you know it in your heart? Using wooden men, wooden dragons, that kind of ninjutsu that consumes a lot of chakra is fine. Even immortal arts are used. Said unhappily. Advertisement. And in the process, he checked the body between the pillars. Today's column is suffering from a terminal illness. Although relying on the drugs invented in Mingjian, he did not appear haggard, and looked very energetic. But in fact, this is just a superficial phenomenon. The body between the pillars was far worse than the state he showed. Every time chakra is refined between the pillars, it will further damage his body. Not to mention Muji cure. There is even the possibility of shortening the lifespan. From the beginning, Fei Jian did not support the battle between Zuma and the Japanese style. Just considering the character and persistence of the pillars, so I didn't say anything. However, now, Zhu Jian ignored his physical condition and used immortality forcibly. The hidden dangers buried before were all exposed at this moment. The battle between him and Hefeng could no longer continue. I'm going to take the first generation of Hokage to Konoha Hospital for further treatment. Kalma said to the wind, Tsunade will leave it to you for the time being. There was a pause in the door, and then asked the column, how about brother, can you still hold on? Ha ha ha. However, what Feng Jian never expected was that Zhu Jian could still laugh out loud in this situation. And it's still a very hearty laugh. Does he know how big the problem is with his current physical condition? All along, the most worrying thing in Fei Jian is that the condition between the pillars will get worse. It doesn't matter. In the meantime, I know my body. It's just that I haven't absorbed natural energy for a long time, so it's a bit rusty. It doesn't matter. Between the pillars he waved his hand, indicating that the door should not be so nervous. He can't die now. You don't want to think about how tenacious my vitality is. Once in the warring states period, no matter how serious the injury was, didn't I heal it on my own? What's the deal with this kind of problem now? While talking, Zhu Jian stretched out his hand and gently touched Hefeng's head. It's just a pity, this matchup didn't tell the outcome, Hefeng. We are equally divided. Next time, gentle style. After Zhu Jian said, he was allowed to use the technique of Flying Thunder God to take himself out of here. Whoosh. The door room and the pillar room disappeared immediately. Chapter 164 Uchiha Madara's Plan 5 more. Advertisement. Baiju never dreamed that the battle between Hefeng and Zhu would end in this way. It seems that the terminal illness between the pillars is now very serious. Bai definitely couldn't help sighing. Even if it is a pillar that is as strong as the god of ninja, after all, it still cannot escape the problem of birth, old age, sickness and death. And as long as he died. In this ninja world, there is no ninja who can suppress Uchiha Madara. At least, not now. Baiju gave Hefeng a meaningful glance, then used the mayfly technique and left here. Hefeng is only 7 years old now. Although he had a tie with Zhu Jian, Baiju could see it. Once the pillars enter the fairy mode, his power will double. I thought I could see the thousands of hands between the pillars. What a pity. Baiju spit out in his heart, while rushing back to the crevice of hell. You are back, Baiju. Uchiha Madara sat cross-legged on the Kong, closed his eyes and rested, but he perceives Baiju. Master Madara. Baiju emerged from the rock and reported to him. Just now, there was a fight between the pillars and the wind. Uchiha Madara. His eyes opened sharply, wondering if he had heard something wrong. What did Baiju just say? Is there a fight between the pillars and the breeze? Yes, it's just a common practice. Uchiha Madara calmed down for a while, thinking that this should be just a test of Hefeng's current strength as a grandfather. Actually, there is nothing to fuss about. In Uchiha Madara's view, even the Japanese style cannot be compared with Zuma. He is the god of ninjas. Apply the wooden escape technique to men who are superb. It was the only man who looked at the entire shinobi world who could suppress himself. He is the only man who can fight with himself until the last minute. The only man who can be recognized by my Uchiha Madara. It is not difficult to see the position of the pillar in Madara Uchiha's heart. Even Hefeng is now the ninja who defeated the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn, the Ghost Lantern and the Moon. There is still a world of difference between him and the pillar. After all, Hefeng is only 7 years old. Whether it is power, speed, or anything else, he and Zhu Jian are very different. It's simply incomparable. Advertisement. The result must have been that Hefeng that kid lost, right? Uchiha Madara thought about it, and thought it was a matter of course. But, gentleman's talent is really terrifying. If you let him continue to grow. Maybe someday one day, he will surpass the Senjuan. Become the biggest obstacle in your own path. That is the kid who inherited the powerful wooden escape between the pillars. Actually, between the pillars and the wind, match up with physique, ninjutsu, and wood escape. Both, evenly divided. Baiju took a deep breath, and spoke out the battle process he had seen. Even Uchiha Madara was stunned while Baizetsu was telling him. What? Between the breeze and the pillars, there are equal parts. Moreover, Hefeng also learned the art of Flying Thunder God. And used the technique of Flying Thunder God to knock down the pillars with a spiral pill. Are you kidding me? That was the only man recognized by him. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi, Flying Thunder God. Madara Uchiha gritted his teeth and couldn't help but recalled that he had used this ninjutsu in the past. Kill his brother Senna. If it weren't for his brother's death, maybe he could really sit down with the pillars. To believe the way he said. For a time, Uchiha Madara's heart was filled with emotion. If it weren't for Senna's death, he would not open the eternal kaleidoscope. For that stone steel. Thinking of this, Uchiha Madara shook his head. At this point, it doesn't make any sense to recall the past. He does not hate anyone, nor does he blame anyone. The only thing he cares about right now is his Moon Eye project. Construct a truly peaceful world without war. Everyone can put his heart to heart and treat each other frankly. The past is meaningless to me now. However, even though Uchiha Madara said so, his heart was still shocked by Shirazu's remarks. Now, Feng, who is only 7 years old, is even with the pillars who don't use fairy magic. Evenly matched. Even among these, there is a terminally ill relationship between the pillars. Advertisement. But it also suffices to show that Hefeng's growth rate is faster than he imagined. Hefeng, that kid, how did he do it? Mu Dun, Helix Pill, Flying Thunder God, 8-Door Dun Jaw, Weird Power. Looking at these ninjutsu from Uchiha Madara, no matter which kind of ninjutsu, you need to pay enough sweat to master it. But the breeze took less than 4 months. I am proficient in them. This growth rate is too exaggerated. I originally planned to wait for the death of the pillars before trying to figure out a way to get rid of Hefeng. Now it seems that I can't wait for that time. Uchiha Madara looked down at his hands. He can feel that his strength is slowly fading. Hefeng's growth rate completely subverted his cognition. If you give him 4 more months, Uchiha Madara really doesn't know how strong he will become. Given the current situation between the pillars, there should be no problem living for at least 1 or 2 years. If you give Hefeng a year or 2, Uchiha Madara hesitated. On one side, there is Senjuzuzuma. In this world, the only man he recognized. He didn't want that in the last life of Zujian, he would be hit by the loss of the most important person. But on the other side, it was the Moon Eye project. This is the only answer that can completely change the world and make people confidant. It seems that I have to make my choice. Uchiha Madara took a deep breath and made a low voice. The writing wheel of his 2 eyes turned quickly, instantly upgrading into an eternal kaleidoscope. According to the information that Baiju brought back, he inferred that in the next period of time between the pillars, because of the inability to refine the chakra, it would become useless. In other words, by then, the strongest combat power of Konoha village will be Chinsho Janma. Uchiha Madara couldn't help but sneered when he thought that Chinshojian was the strongest combat power. I don't know if this is considered to be the case. There is no tiger in the mountain, and the monkey is the king. Hakujutsu, when you collected Konoha's information before, you said that someone from the Uchiha clan inherited my will. Yes. Baiju nodded and immediately replied, they are trying to use force to seize power from Feijian's hands. It's just because the pillars are still alive, so I haven't done anything for a long time. Yeah, Uchiha Madara's mood was a bit complicated. At that time, he gave the Uchiha family a chance. Let them leave the village with themselves. As a result, they chose to abandon themselves. Ironically, after abandoning themselves, they want to inherit their will. Well, just use them. Chapter 165 Check in again. Right round eyes. One more. Advertisement. After the battle with the breeze, his condition worsened. As a result, he was unable to refine chakra for a long time. Uzumaki Mito also took care of Tsunama and Tsunade at the same time. It's just that this incident makes Hefeng somewhat depressed. He originally just wanted to discuss with Zhu Jian a little bit to see how far his current strength is from Zhu Jian. For such a result, he was completely unexpected. Of course, whether it's the pillar room or the door room that needs recuperation. There is no meaning of blaming Hefeng. In any case, that battle happened at the request of Zhu Jian. It was only a whim between the pillars and absorption of natural energy that caused the illness to worsen. Can't blame others. And the days following Hefeng were ordinary. In addition to flickering Tsunade every day. Oh no. Except to accompany Tsunade every day. His time is spent on missions and training. To become Konoha's shinobu, the strength of shinobu alone is far from enough. You must also have enough contribution. In a peaceful age, carrying out tasks is probably the only way for Hefeng to gain contribution. Not to mention training. Hefeng's physique is a fighting method based on the Bamindunjia. If the muscle strength is not enough, it will only cause damage to him when using Bamindunjia. Although Hefeng does not intend to open the 8-gate Dunjia array. But he still wanted to master the power of the 7th door. Time is still, time flies. As soon as the days flickered, more than half a month passed. Hefeng stood in front of the dressing mirror in the bedroom and looked at himself. Is it the developmental stage? Hefeng supports his right elbow with his left hand, and then supports his chin with his thumb and index finger. I don't know if it is his illusion. During this time, I grew taller again. Now I feel almost 1 meter 3 meters away. It is worth mentioning that people of the Thousand Hands clan are taller. Like Chinshojian, his height is 1.5 meters. Chinshojian's body is about 1.82 meters. The wooden room is also 1 meter 83. It's my grandmother Uzumaki Mito, who is 1 meter tall. No one in the family is short in height. After I grow up, I am properly stable and stable. Okay. Suddenly, Kazuka frowned. That said, Tsunade, didn't he drag us back? Advertisement. In retrospect, Tsunade usually wore high heels when he became an adult. She seems to be 1.63 meters tall. Except for the rope tree that was blown to death before it grew up. Tsunade is undoubtedly the shortest person in the family. Even their mother, Ayako, is 1.68 meters tall. Tsunade. The shame of the family. I can't say that. Kazuka shook his head, thinking of Tsunade's pectoral muscles, he felt. The reason why Tsunade didn't grow tall was mostly because the nutrition went where he should go. From a certain perspective, Tsunade is actually the winner in life. Just when the breeze started to think wildly, a familiar voice resounded in his mind. The cooling time of the check-in system is over. Close black lens bracket. Please confirm with the host. Close black lens bracket. Whether to check in. Close black lens bracket. Can you punch the card again? Feng blinked. He has been busy running tasks these days, and the time has passed in a mess. Today, I finally decided to take a day off and do nothing. Unexpectedly, just in time for a new check-in. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, that must. Need to punch in. Feng nodded happily, leaving behind all his height and chest muscles. Check in successfully. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host for getting the punch-in package. Close black lens bracket. Whether to open. Close black lens bracket. Turn on. Feng almost didn't hesitate. Anyway, this kind of gift package is stored without interest. Open early and enjoy early. And, for this reward, Hefeng still has some expectations. Because of countless punches before, more than once proved that he is a European emperor. Let me guess, what good stuff will be offered this time? Isn't it a writer? With a smile on his face, Kazuka thanked Uchiha Madara once again. Whether it is physique or ninjutsu, the current harmony cannot be said to be weak. Physical skills, he has 8 dodges and strange powers. Even if he is only 7 years old and only 1 meter 3 in height, he is not that ninja, who can fight against himself. Although he wanted to learn to start the door and use the day tiger, but it didn't have any effect. Ninjutsu. Water escape, spiral pill, flying thunder god, plus wood escape. Advertisement. Whether it is fighting ninjutsu, or turning the key winners and losers. The breeze is already there. Especially the art of flying thunder god, when you encounter a ninja you can't beat, you can retreat well. Of course, today's ninja world is a ninja who is stronger than himself. Feng feels that there is not much left. On the contrary, it is in the field of illusion, I am still a noob. The wind complained to himself. There is no doubt that the current illusion is the only weakness of the Japanese style. He neither knows how to use illusions, nor is he sure if he can be immune to illusions. However, in terms of inclination, Feng felt that he was not immune to illusion. Using illusion, it doesn't matter to me. Immunity is more important to me. As a gentle breeze of a traveler, he is very clear in his heart. Uchiha Madara is not dead. After the Valley of the End, he got the cells between the pillars. Hiding in the dark while cultivating intercolumn cells. On the other side, they waited for the opportunity and made a comeback. Realize his ideals and ambitions. Despite the original plot, Uchiha Madara only relied on Shirazusu to collect intelligence on the ninja world, and the plan was not officially implemented until the end of the Third Ninja War. But, because I have traveled to this world, the plan equivalent to Uchiha Madara has a big change. He can almost be said to be the unstable factor of the Moon Eye project. If I were Uchiha Madara, I would definitely find a way to come and FK me. And the one that makes the gentle breeze the most jealous. It's Uchiha Madara's illusion. Although he played against the pillars and the 5 shadows, he didn't rely much on the power of illusion. But just from the point of view that Uchiha Madara controlled Kyuubi at a glance. To say that Uchiha Madara can't illusion Hefeng is unbelief. He felt that Uchiha Madara was not only capable of illusion, but also very likely to be a master of illusion. But if you can get a round of writing, then the situation will be different. As long as the intensity of the writing wheel eyes is strong enough, it can even turn the illusions released by others into my illusions and fight back the enemy. Even if you can't reverse a ninja as powerful as Plaque, at least he won't be killed by illusion. Hefeng analyzed the situation in front of him. Then, opened the punch card gift package. Check-in package is open. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host, get the Shiluyan LV3 from the check-in package. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 166 What a good pair of eyes 2 more. Advertisement. Hefeng. No way, you won't really get the eye of the writer. Hefeng froze in place for a while, not knowing what to say. Although he analyzed the current situation, he felt that it would be best to open up a round of writing. But, this is just a gentle thought. He didn't think that his luck would be so good that he wanted what he wanted. This is like DNF's box opening. Every player who opens the box wants to open a +1/2 diamond booster. But this does not mean that you can open it if you want. Taking into account the problem of probability, draw the props you want at one time. It is undoubtedly harder. However, Hefeng was born abruptly in the variety of ninjutsu, and he got the eyes of the writing wheel. This luck, it is simply the chosen one. Yes, it is. From Hefeng's point of view, he is simply the chosen one. I defeated Ghost Lantern Huan Yu in Nami Nation, or in front of Nami Nation's name, the samurai group defeated the opponent. Unless Uchiha Madara Shirazu is a fool. Otherwise, with my reputation, I'm afraid Uchiha Madara's attention would have been attracted long ago. To be honest, the last time I clocked in, I wanted to write round eyes. In the end, I got the technique of Flying Thunder God. However, even if it counts the last time, it will be the second time. This kind of luck is really great. Anyone who knows Hokage a little knows it. Shirolunian is the eldest son of the Six Paths, Indra and his descendants Uchiha and his descendants have the blood inheritance boundary. But it is different from the blood succession boundary generated by the fusion of two chakras. Writing round eyes is a kind of pupil technique. Possess powerful abilities such as observation, copying, and hypnosis, so that those who possess it have insights that are unimaginable by ordinary people. The most important thing is that the writing wheel can observe the flow of chakra. Like the period of the Third Ninja World War, Bring 2 and Kakashi rushed to the bridge of Shen Wukun to rescue Lin. As a result, I met Iwa Shinobu who can be invisible. Kakashi was cut in one eye. At the moment, it was the earth that opened the eye of the writing wheel. By observing the flow of the chakra, the enemy was discovered, and the counter-kill was successful in the end. This shows how outstanding the ability to write round eyes is. And the most needed part of the breeze. Naturally, it can be applied, and the ability to see through illusion. But, advertisement. As the gentle breeze opened the writing wheel, it also brought some problems to him. His grandfather is Senju Zuma. His grandma is Uzumaki Mito. Mother Ayako is just a civilian. There are no members of the Uchiha clan in the family. The Mu-dun who had been drawn before, Kagura looked at him. Can be explained by inheritance. But how do you explain it? In other words, I must not let others know about the things that I started writing round eyes. At least at this time, I can't let others know. The breeze was looking in the mirror, looking at himself standing in front of him. Those black pupils are piercing. As for writing round eyes LV3, if I didn't guess wrong. LV1 should refer to 1 Go Jade, then 2 Go Jade, and 3 Go Jade. Thinking of this, Hefeng glanced at the window, and then used the ability of Kagura's heart to confirm. Make sure that no one is observing yourself in secret. Hefeng opened the writing round eye to verify my conjecture. His eyes closed slightly, and he could feel chakra flowing towards his brain. Then, it acts on the eye nerves. Gradually, Hefeng felt a little tingling in his eyes. However, as the gentle breeze breathed slowly, the tingling sensation quickly disappeared. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He opened his eyes again. In order to ensure that your writing wheel will not be discovered by others. When Hefeng closed his eyes, he activated Kagura's heart again. Next second, Hefeng opened his eyes and saw himself in the mirror. Hefeng's pupils changed from deep black to blood red as he expected. And above his pupils, there are 3 Guyu jade-like tadpoles. Surprisingly, 3 Guyu right round eyes. And immediately afterwards, Hefeng stood on the spot in a daze. He stared at the boy in the mirror blankly, speechless for a while. Even Hefeng's right hand trembled a little. At this moment, he didn't know what language to use to describe the picture he saw. It's not. The fact that he possesses the Shaolun Yan made him feel excited and excited. But, so hot. The gentle breeze was deeply attracted by the person in the mirror. He really couldn't understand why there are such handsome people in this world. If you are a girl, you will cry and marry the person in the mirror. After being immersed in this scene for a long time, Hefeng reluctantly closed the writing wheel eyes. Advertisement. What a good pair of eyes. Hefeng couldn't help sighing in his heart. At the same time, there is a new problem that lies in front of Hefeng. Even the current genius of the Uchiha clan, Mirror, only has a 3 Go Jade, and the other only a 2 Go Jade. But, compared with the kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes, the Sango Jade writing wheel eyes are much weaker. If it were Uchiha Madara's illusion, my writing round eyes would probably only be able to withstand a few seconds. Although a few seconds is enough for me to divert my attention, or escape with Thunder God. But to defeat Uchiha Madara, I don't have enough power right now. Hefeng began to think about the gap between the 3 Go Jade and the kaleidoscope, well known. Want to upgrade Sango Jade into a kaleidoscope. It is simple to say, and it is difficult to say it. Say it is simple, because the method is simple and rude. As long as the cherished person dies in front of him, the kaleidoscope can be opened instantly. So here comes the problem. Who can kill your cherished person? Shima, Shuma, Mito, Hima, Ayako, Tsunade. The people I care about right now are nothing more than these people. But they basically have no reason to leave Konoha Hidden Village. And now it's a peaceful age. Hefeng couldn't think of any kind of madman who could run to Konoha Village and kill all these people. Zhao Du. Based on this, Hefeng felt that he had opened a kaleidoscope. It is difficult for him. Do not. It is as difficult as climbing. It's Uchiha Madara. I'm afraid it won't be so irony. After thinking about it, Hefeng simply gave up the normal way of upgrading Zhuanyan. Sure enough, wait until the next time you punch in. Hefeng took a deep breath, and could only hope that the next time he punched in, he could draw a kaleidoscope. As for the eternal kaleidoscope, Hefeng didn't even think about it. I only have one sister now. It's Tsunade. How could she have a writing wheel? Speaking of, Hefeng suddenly reacted when he thought of clocking in. His punch card system, so far, has not drawn repeated rewards. Does this mean that the rewards drawn by oneself will disappear completely in the punch card package? Doesn't show up anymore. Chapter 167. Please fight me again, 3 more. Advertisement. Otherwise, how do you explain it? More than 4 months have passed since the first time I punched my card. During this period, I checked in 7 or 8 times. But every time, I didn't get any duplicates. In terms of probability, this is very abnormal. Unless, the rewards drawn by me will disappear in the punch-in system package. This discovery made Hefeng excited as if he had discovered a new world. If his thinking is right, That meant that he upgraded the 3 Guyu Jade writing round eyes to the kaleidoscope writing round eyes. It was only a matter of time. As long as you keep punching in. Sooner or later, one day, I will be able to draw a kaleidoscope to write round eyes. So, what needs to be considered now is the black hand behind the scenes. The previous Zephyr had no thoughts and no strength to consider these issues. And, although he was between the pillars, in their eyes, he was a genius. Great hopes were given. But this kind of genius halo did not leave the village, nor did it spread far and wide. It shouldn't attract Uchiha Madara's attention. But there was a big disturbance in the Nami country. Maybe Madara has already known me. I must be careful in future actions. As for Hitsi, that guy has almost no power. Can't even beat Chengjuro. If he dared to show up in front of him, he would know him well. Of course, Hefeng felt that he was definitely not that stupid. In any case, he is the man behind the plot. Before Madara was mistaken for thinking that Highway was his will, he will never show up easily. However, now that the pillars are still alive, Madara won't do it easily. Just now, Hefeng had imagined that if he was Madara, he would definitely rush to FK him immediately. But, this idea is based on the perspective of God. I know that I am a traverser and have all the information. I also know that I have a punch card system and the possibility of learning all ninjutsu. So from my perspective, before I am invincible, killing me is the safest decision. But, whether it's Uchiha Madara or Black Z, advertisement. None of them are omniscient and omnipotent. At least, it is impossible for them to know that they have a check-in system. Plus, the pillar room is still alive now. If Uchiha Madara desperately ran to Konoha himself, the fact that he suspended his death will definitely be exposed. Uchiha Madara cannot bear this risk. If you think about it this way, the lifespan between the pillars is not only related to the outbreak of the First Ninja World War. And it will affect Uchiha Madara's actions. In other words, Hefeng's most reliable plan. Before he died between the pillars, he became stronger than Uchiha Madara. I remember Uchiha Madara said that he opened the eyes of reincarnation when he was dying. That's why I entrusted the Moon Eye project to Tai Tu. In other words, Uchiha Madara now has no reincarnation eyes. But even if there is no reincarnation eye, Uchiha Madara is also a strong man with Mu-Dun and Susanoo. Mu-Dun realm, I now only know the Wooden Man and the Wooden Dragon. In terms of writing round eyes, I don't even have a kaleidoscope. However, just as Hefeng sorted out these clues, a knock on the door suddenly sounded outside his door. Hefeng, someone is looking for you. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's the sound between the pillars. I have to say that Tsunami is very fond of Tsunade. He recovered a little, and immediately ran to Tsunade to play. Someone is looking for me. Hefeng responded, and after finishing punching in anyway, he came out directly from the bedroom. What he didn't expect was people who came to him suddenly now. It turned out to be the ninja he defeated in the first and final round of the Zongan selection exam. Uchiha Setsuna, Master Hefeng. When he watched Hefeng walk out of the room inside, a smile appeared on his face. It's been a long time since I saw him. What can you do with me? Hefeng said lightly, although it is not clear why Setsuna suddenly came to look for him, but for him, Hefeng did not have a good impression. That's it. No matter how gentle the wind is, she still smiles. After losing to Master Hefeng in the Zongan exam, I have been training hard. I am now stronger than before. And so, while talking, Uchiha Setsuna suddenly lowered his head and bowed towards the Japanese wind. Please, Master Hefeng, please fight me again. Before Hefeng refused to speak, the pillar on the side could not help but laughed. Ha ha ha, that's not bad, now the Uchiha clan people work hard. Advertisement. Hefeng, promise him. Although Zujian always looks unreliable, but he has been worrying about the village in his heart. He also always hoped that the estrangement between the families would disappear completely. The children put their hearts to heart and treat each other frankly. This is his ideal and his original intention to establish Konoha. Among all the families, what he most hopes to see is that the Sensho clan and Uchiha clan can shake hands. Treat each other as a friend with a heart to heart. Unfortunately, I failed to do this. Uchiha Madara eventually died in his hands. And that guy in the door has always been on guard regarding the issue of Uchiha's clan. Based on this and that relationship, Zujian felt that only gentle winds could truly do what she wanted to do but couldn't do. Thinking of this, a petting smile appeared on Zujian's face, hoping Hefeng could do as he said. Go and try it with Uchiha Setsuna. Of course, to release water. Although Zujian didn't know where the confidence came from, he just had to think of Hefeng's current strength. He felt that Setsuna had no chance of winning. In order to let Hefeng understand what he meant, Zujian blinked his eyes. About 10 minutes later, the two of them came to a quiet forest. Please, Master Hefeng, this is the residence of our Uchiha clan. The corners of Setsuna's mouth raised, and then he clapped his hands. He knows a good place for them to play against. A rare break time. But if you try something, this guy can't hold up even a round in his own hands. As here, Hefeng looked around, he was the first time to come to this kind of place. Hefeng naturally did not reject each other. Zefeng. Immediately, more than a dozen black shadows rushed out of the woods on both sides, surrounding Hefeng. In the end, he had no choice but to relax his tone and nod his head, that's all right. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Setsuna suggested that Hefeng come with him. And considering this kind of fight, you can't fight on the streets of the village. It's true. And Uchiha's attitude is even more sincere. In this way, Kazuka followed Uchiha Setsuna and left the house together. Hefeng stood in place, looked at the moment, then looked at the column. Chapter 168 Right Round Eyes. Who hasn't? 4 more. Advertisement. Hefeng remembered when he heard Setsuna's answer. The Uchiha station in the Naruto story. It was because of the turbulent night of 9 tails that the senior Konoha found a reason and kicked the Uchiha clan from the center of the village to the periphery. But in this era, the Uchiha clan is a big clan that united with Senju to establish the village. Naturally, in Muyein village, it has a good territory to build its own station. If it weren't for the pillars, I hope to eliminate the family estrangement, today's Thousand Hands clan. There should also be a good location. However, what he didn't expect was when Uchiha Setsuna turned around and turned his head back. A dozen black shadows suddenly rushed out from the darkness of the forest and surrounded Hefeng. Okay. Hefeng blinked and looked around, noting that these people had no intention of hiding their identities. They have neither face masks nor nightgowns. Even each of them has a sign of a fan. It is the emblem of the Uchiha clan. They are all from the Uchiha clan. The age ranges from teens to tens of years. And Hefeng will naturally not be so stupid to ask Setsuna, what do you want to do, and other nonsense. Because the answer is obvious. If I remember correctly, it should have been the creation of Konoha Police Department as the fuse, which caused some ninjas who inherited Madara's will to try to rebel. Hefeng thought to himself. And Uchiha Setsuna was the one who inherited Uchiha Madara's will. Just follow the normal timeline. These hawks of the Uchiha clan began to rebel after the Konoha Police Department was established. But in the current period, there is no idea of establishing a police department at all. In other words, their rebellion time has advanced. Is it because of my relationship? Zefeng frowned. He thought of a possibility. The previous Nakanin exam and being promoted to a special one. Let Chief Uchiha see his talent. So I feel that Konoha's next generation Hokage. It must be myself. In this way, Konoha's first generation of Hokage is Senjujuma. The second generation of Hokage, Chinsho Janjian. The third generation of Hokage is himself, Chinsho and Feng. The 3 generations are all 1,000 hands. Advertisement. If you change to yourself, it is estimated that your mentality will collapse. Therefore, the Uchiha clan decided to rebel in advance. Of course, this is only Hefeng's personal guess. As for what the truth is, he can't say anything. It's just that he didn't think of it. People from the Uchiha clan are so upright. He really ran to his home and swaggered to invite himself to Uchiha's station. Then do it. It seems you are not surprised at all, gentle. The smile on Uchiha's face instantly disappeared, replaced by a vicious expression. He has long wanted to get rid of the breeze. It was because of him that he could not be promoted to Zongren. Surprised. What's so surprising? Hefeng murmured in a baffling expression. At the same time, his heart couldn't help but begin to struggle. I should get rid of all these people. Or use the technique of Flying Thunder God to leave and let them get rid of them. Although the power of the Uchiha clan is the power of Konoha village. Hefeng doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes again and cause the Uchiha clan to experience an extermination tragedy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. However, these people in front of him all inherited Uchiha Madara's will. If they are left behind, their thoughts will be spread to the next generation of Uchiha. For the development of Konoha village, this is a very unfavorable thing. If Hefeng remembers correctly, the only way to deal with it at the time was to arrest these Uchiha ninjas. It doesn't seem to be eradicated to avoid future troubles. It led to the hidden danger finally buried. At the time of Sarutobi Hizen, Uchiha's interests and the village's interests were forced into 2 camps. Don't you think that I just want to teach you a lesson? Gentle. Seeing Hefeng didn't say anything, the person from Uchiha Setsuna simply pointed out the words. Konoha Hidden Village is a village jointly established by the 2 tribes of Senju and Uchiha, but the result is. Hokage will always be a member of the Thousand Hands clan. Even that guy kicked us out of the Konoha high level and out of the political center. We didn't treat Uchiha as the same thing at all. Presumably, you have the same idea in your heart. In fact, Uchiha Setsuna didn't care whether Hefeng could understand what he said. Because he just wanted to vent his dissatisfaction with the policy. In any case, from his perspective, Hefeng is a 7-year-old kid. What can he understand? Advertisement. Moreover, for this plan, the Uchiha clan hawks have been planning for a long time. Even if Hefeng's strength is above an instant, there are now more than a dozen Uchiha ninjas gathered here. And, each of them opened the writing wheel. It is easy to deal with a 7-year-old gentleman. Even a 7-year-old kid can become a special shinobu casually. It's a joke. Instantly filled with indignation, emotionally, now, the first generation of Hokage is seriously ill, unable to extract chakra, basically no different from waste. The only person who can be a threat to our plan is the door. But, the corners of his mouth rose, watching the breeze. He knows. He knows that the person who cares most about him is the gentle breeze. As long as they can control the breeze, it can weaken the fighting power of the room. At that time, deal with the pillars that cannot refine chakra. It's a piece of cake. And Shinsho Zujian died. Instantly couldn't think of anyone else who could stop them. What Sarutobi, Shimura, Hyuga, Although they are the ninja who joined Konoha at the time of creation, they are not on par with Uchiha. Whether it is the power that you have, or the size of the family. None of them are of a level. However, I guess I'm telling you this, but you don't understand it either. Uchiha Setsuna smiled and shook his head, and then opened the Shilunion, preparing to use Shilunion illusion to control the breeze. However, just when he was about to release illusion, but inexplicably asked a gentle breeze, "Do you have anything you want to say now?" More than a dozen people from the Uchiha clan. Setsuna really didn't know how they lost. What's the name between the pillars? Hefeng yelled, looking straight at the moment. Regarding other content, he felt indifferent. But only for the moment that called the space between the pillars as trash, he couldn't assume that he hadn't heard it. Shina was startled, not knowing why. He felt that the 7-year-old gentle breeze was very strong. What is going on with this kid? That look, okay. Suddenly, Shina's eyes widened, and he suddenly saw that Hefeng's eyes had turned into Shilanion. Chapter 169 Compare illusion with me. 5 more. Advertisement. Uchiha Setsuna vigorously rubbed his eyes, seriously wondering if he used the writing wheel too often, which caused the hallucinations now. Hefeng is a family of 1,000 hands. The grandson of Senjujuma, right? Why does he have the writing wheel eyes that are unique to the Uchiha clan? How is this kind of thing possible? In fact, it wasn't just Uchiha Setsuna who was shocked by the scene in front of her. Every Uchiha member present was stunned. What's going on? Can anyone explain? Isn't the writing wheel eyes unique to their clan? Why does Hefeng have a writing wheel? Moreover, they are all clear. Hefeng's mother, Ayako, is just an ordinary civilian. Naturally, Father Mujian didn't need to say much. Between the pillars is the 1,000 Hands clan. Mito is a family of whirlpools. Did not write round eyes. Why is it so gentle and open the eye of writing round? It's a lie. Uchiha Setsuna couldn't help taking a breath, his eyes staring like bull's eyes, as if the writing wheel eyes might fall out of their eye sockets at any time. He really couldn't understand. Why does Hefeng have a writing wheel? This is simply incredible. Incredible. Too exaggerated. Why does the grandson between the pillars have a writing wheel? What the hell is going on? Fake it, isn't the writing wheel yawn only opened by the Uchiha clan? Does Hefeng have the blood of the Uchiha clan? For a while, everyone talked a lot, but they still couldn't get the answer. However, what shocked them was not just that Hefeng was an outsider who opened the eyes of the writing wheel. When he was 7 years old, he opened his eyes. This kind of thing, even in their clan, no one can do it. Even the man they admire most. Uchiha Madara started writing round eyes when he was 15 years old. As a result, someone from the Uchiha clan. But when he was 7 years old, he opened his eyes. Advertisement. Doesn't this mean that his talent is more exaggerated than Uchiha Madara? And also, 3 Go Jade, it's 3 Go Jade writing round eyes. Uchiha's ninja exclaimed again. Generally speaking, the first time you open the writing wheel, you will not directly get the 3 Guyu writing wheel. But 1 Guyu is mostly. Like Uchiha Madara, both eyes are a goblin. 1 eye is Goyu, which is enough to be called a genius of writing round eyes. But now, a ninja who is not a member of their clan. Not only opened the writing wheel eyes that did not belong to him, but also both eyes were 3 Go Jade. This kind of thing, to a great extent, shocked their hearts. Even in this team, the Uchiha people, who have not yet upgraded to Sengoyu, are shocked and angry. Doesn't this mean that they are not even as good as a 7-year-old child? A 7-year-old child can have 2 3 Go Jade writing round eyes, but I am only a 2 Go Jade. This is too depressing. That's right, when I was 7, I didn't even know what the writing wheel was. Are you 7? Don't say it's you, it's Uchiha Madara. When you were 7, you didn't know what Shonyan was. For a time, these Uchiha clan people all felt depressed. Without any exaggeration, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. If Hefeng is a member of the Uchiha clan, they will definitely open their eyes because Hefeng is 7 years old, and because of the 3 Go Jade, they will dance with excitement. Because this is enough to prove that Hefeng is a genius among geniuses. It is the hope of the Uchiha clan for the future. When he is a little older, he will not only become the Uchiha clan leader, it will be expected. He must be able to lead the Uchiha clan, please be bound by Sensho. Become Hokage. Naruto of Uchiha's family. However, Kase is not a member of the Uchiha clan. But the grandson between the pillars. I know that Hefeng must have used the transformation technique. Uchiha Setsuna suddenly exclaimed, and then activated the illusion. After some shock, he has now eased his emotions. No matter what you think, it is unscientific for a person from the Chinsho family to start riding the wheel. Setsuna's heart is even more reluctant to believe this fact. Therefore, he directly made up for it, and the wind uses the transformation technique to pretend that he has the riding wheel eye. But actually, as long as Setsuna is calm enough, he can discover the irrationality of this idea. To write round eyes is to see through the limits of ninjutsu's blood succession. Such things as transfiguration techniques can't deceive the writers at all. Advertisement. Moreover, when using the transformation technique, a cloud of white mist will appear in front of him. This is also common sense in Naruto world. It can only be said that the fact that Hefeng owns the Shilulanian really shocked them. So that Moss's brain can no longer think like a normal person. Now he just wants to use his own illusion to control the wind. Then use the gentle breeze to deal with the door. Just be defeated by them. The pillar that can't refine chakra. Naturally, it is not a threat. However, Uchiha's illusion was met with contempt by the wind. Today's Uchiha Setsuna is just a configuration of 2-2 Jade. And writing round eyes, naturally, the more Guyu, the stronger the effect. Today's Japanese style is a genuine 3-Go Jade writing round eyes. It's not a transformation technique at all, and it's not a cosmetic contact lens. Seeing Uchiha Setsuna used illusion on himself, Kaukaze just stood in place, the corners of his mouth raised slightly, and then he replied in the same way. In an instant, Hefeng fell to the ground with a plop. Uchiha instantly showed a relieved expression, he took a deep breath, the corners of his mouth rose, and a smile appeared. After all, it's just a fake. Only the Uchiha clan can exert the true power of Shaolin Yan. A person like you, forever and ever, will never be able to master the true power of Shaolin Yan. Uchiha Setsuna yelled at the Japanese wind hysterically, and then walked in front of the Japanese wind in 3 and 2 steps, half bent over, stretched out his 5 fingers, and grabbed the Japanese wind on the ground. Ready to take him away. Use him to limit the time. Whether the Uchiha clan's rebellion can be successful. All in one fell swoop. However, just when Uchiha Setsuna's hand was about to catch the wind, his body suddenly turned into crows, flapping their wings and flying. And Uchiha Setsuna's ears heard successive crows. Ah roar, ah roar. Immediately afterwards, the facial features of the people he was familiar with began to twist, choking their necks one after another, becoming extremely painful. A ball of flame began to burn from under their feet and swallowed them instantly. The miserable wailing, and the crow's cry, constantly echoed in Uchiha's ears. Slowly, it made him feel desperate. The gentle writing round eyes, it's true. Chapter 170 I'm going to kill you guys, are you okay? One more. Advertisement. In the real world, the illusion released by Uchiha Setsuna not only failed to produce an effect on the wind, but was instead bitten back by his 3-Go Jade writing wheel eyes. Thump. Uchiha Setsuna's eyes widened, his body leaned forward, and he fell straight down. Illusion. I was hit by the illusion in an instant. Through the ability of writing round eyes and noticing the flow of chakras of Setsuna, the Uchiha tribe quickly realized that the reason why Setsuna fell was because of the illusion of Japanese wind. At the same time, this also means that the writing round eyes of the gentle wind is true. He really opened the writing wheel. And, at the age of 7, he opened the eyes of Sangoyu writing round. This fact shocked everyone instantly. Rao is a true Uchiha genius, and he has never had a record of opening 2-3-Go Jade to write round eyes at the age of 7. But now, this kind of thing that not only looks incredible, even sounds incredible, has happened to Hefeng. You can go on together. Hefeng looked around and noticed that these people were all shocked now. In any case, writing round eyes is the secret of gentle style. Now that they were discovered by these people, he had no reason to stay alive. As soon as the voice fell, Hefeng took action. The Uchiha clan's attempt to rebel, the evidence is solid, and it should be condemned. You have no opinion. Then, Hefeng patted his hands with both hands, not caring about these people's reactions at all, Mu Dun Mu Ren's technique. The earth shook, and countless vines grew crazily at the feet of the gentle wind and gathered together to form a tall wooden figure. Then, it was a massacre. To the current Japanese style, these Uchiha people are not a threat at all. The illusion that they are best at does not have any effect on them. The tall wooden figure grabbed a fist with 5 fingers, waved his arm, and slammed directly at the nearest Uchiha tribe. Boom. With a loud noise, the Uchiha clan member was killed on the spot before he even had time to hum. The Hefeng opens the 8th-door Dunjia. The 3rd door, the life door, open. His skin turned red due to hyperemia, and green energy radiated from all over his body. In the next second, Hefeng flashed to the side of the tribe in moments, and hit his chest with a punch. Cherry blossoms. The majestic chakra was precisely controlled by the gentle wind, concentrated on his fist, and burst out of strange power in the 8th-door Dunjia state. The Uchiha clan in front of them subconsciously crossed their hands to parry, trying to block the offensive of the Japanese wind. Advertisement. As a result, this power was far more exaggerated than he imagined. The 2 arms were directly broken by the force of the gentle wind, and the impact poured into his body, smashing his internal organs. Then, the Uchiha flew out from the front of the wind, hit the wall of the station, firmly embedded in it, and spouted a mouthful of blood, accompanied by a little bit of minced meat. Such a scene made everyone in the Uchiha clan feel a tingling scalp. Is this kid really only 7 years old? Just kidding, how could he be so strong? Isn't Setsuna saying that he was evenly matched with Hefeng, and he finally lost to the opponent? He calls this evenly matched. According to their original plan, they used the illusion of writing round eyes. Will control the breeze, then use him to deal with the fate. As a result, after this fight, they realized how outrageous their plans were. It's not that their plan is too outrageous. But the gentle breeze is too outrageous. In their eyes, here and there is a 7-year-old child, the power that should be possessed. This is simply a monster. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, a monster through and through. He not only opened the writing wheel, but also inherited the wooden escape between the pillars. The physical skills are so fast that they can't target them with the writing wheel eyes. Yes it is. After Hefeng opened the 8th-gate Dunjia. These Uchiha people can only see the movements of the wind, but they cannot keep up with the movements of their bodies. It's like when Uchiha Sasuke met Xiao Li for the first time. Obviously, I used the writing wheel to see through every movement of the other party, and the brain also reacted. But the body can't keep up with the opponent's speed. It is no exaggeration to say that these dozen Uchiha people, in front of the wind, it is no different from a living target. The most amazing thing is, Hefeng is obviously only 7 years old. Logically speaking, his mental qualities should be very weak. However, the fact is quite the opposite. Zefeng's heart is not only strong, but also decisive. Basically, if you are hit by the Japanese cherry blossoms, you will die on the spot. It's just a punch for a kid. Except after Hefeng's height looks like a 7-year-old child. Advertisement. They can't tell at all that Hefeng is a 7-year-old kid. Even, what they need to consider now is not whether they can control the wind. Carry out this rebellion mission. But whether it can survive. Yes it is. For them now, the biggest problem is whether they can survive Hefeng's hands. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. 6 members of the Uchiha clan gathered together, sealed their hands, condensed chakra to the throat, and then took a big breath while using their best fire escape. Hefeng turned and looked, and saw 6 large fireballs with a diameter of more than 5 meters flying towards him. As long as he wants to, he can use the wooden body to resist. However, he thought of a better way. Water escape, the art of water dragon bomb. I saw the wind, clear water poured from his feet, wrapped his whole body, and then rose up into the sky, transforming into a water dragon. Facing the flying fireball, the water dragon opened his mouth wide, twisted his body, and collided with the fireball. Bang! Water and fire swallowed each other, forming white steam, spreading out to the surroundings. And the Uchiha clan, their eyes widened one after another, showing incredible expressions. Go on, just kidding. This guy is only 7 years old, right? Why is his chakra amount so exaggerated? With only one water escape technique, we blocked all our ninjutsu. Is this the grandson of Master Zujian? Well, what a terrifying strength. Unprecedented despair shrouded, after seeing the terrifying power of Hefeng. These people all lost the courage to fight. They all felt their scalp numb, so they chose to surrender. I don't want to die in this kind of place. Don't want to die in Hefeng's hands. However, Hefeng did not let go of their plans. Sorry, I can't let Uchiha Madara's will be passed on. Hefeng's face sank, using high-speed movement, fell to a Uchiha side, pulled out the katana from him, and hit his chest with a slash. Soon, Hefeng cooperated with the wooden figure and killed all those who tried to rebel without leaving a word. For a time, the unpleasant smell of blood slowly spread. Chapter 171 Easily destroy the Uchiha clan by one person, 2 more. Advertisement. An unpleasant smell of blood drifted into the breezy sense of smell. Tick. The blood slowly slipped from the samurai sword snatched by the Japanese wind, and fell to the ground, and all around him were the corpses of the Uchiha clan. No doubt, Hefeng's current strength is beyond the reach of these ninjas. This smell, I would have known it without a knife. Tukao in harmony with the wind, he shouldn't have a whim, and then walked forward. And Uchiha-sana, who was dragged into the world of illusion by the wind before, recovered at this moment. He got up from the ground, took a slow and deep breath, and adjusted his emotions. Immediately afterwards, he smelled an unpleasant smell, causing him to cover his nose. Soon, Uchiha Satsuna noticed the sights around him, and all the people he knew well were now in a pool of blood. The 7-year-old Zephyr looked like a monster in his eyes. Did you create another illusion world? Uchiha Satsuna stared at the wind coming step by step, his voice couldn't stop trembling, and his eyes were full of fear of the wind. The Uchiha clan who participated in this operation are all masters who have opened the eyes of righting rounds. It is the genius of their clan. However, facing the 7-year-old gentle breeze, he was so easily wiped out by him. Yes it is. Except for the blood dripping on the Japanese samurai sword, the feather on his body is completely spotless. Monster. This is Uchiha Satsuna's only thought deep in her heart. Apart from monsters, he couldn't think of words that could describe gentleness. When he took the exam with Zongren, he was really like 2 people. Right round eyes, would escape. It was supposed to be between Uchiha Madara and Senjuju, the blood-inherited boundary of the ninja world. Now, all appear in Hefeng alone. Especially writing round eyes. Hefeng was obviously only 7 years old, and he opened the 3-go jade writing wheel. This kind of thing simply subverted Uchiha's cognition. You are the only one left, Satsuna. Kazuka smiled and said, I thought that the Uchiha clan who can open the writing wheel are very strong, I didn't expect. The strength is so weak. Originally, Kei's thought that it was Uchiha Itachi and Taito who were too strong. Therefore, they can destroy the Uchiha clan. It now appears that it is not that the 2 of them are too strong. But, the ninjas of the Uchiha clan are outrageously weak. I had some expectations for them. Now it seems that I am thinking too much. Without opening the kaleidoscope, the ninjas of the Uchiha clan are nothing more than that. Advertisement. No wonder Uchiha Tomatake will ask Uchiha Itachi to join them. After the failure, he gave up and asked Itachi to kill him and Makoto directly. Because of the entire Uchiha clan at that time, only Futake and Itachi had a kaleidoscope. If Fuyu fights against Itachi, the root part sent by Danzo, and the dark part of Sarutobi Hizen will clean the Uchiha station. After the incident, I am afraid that even Sasuke will not survive. On the one hand, it is to complete Uchiha Itachi and Sasuke. On the other hand, it was actually because Fuyu knew it well. When Itachi decided to stand on the other side of the village, The coup of the Uchiha clan has already failed. The final result was nothing more than that these Uchiha people died in the hands of Itachi, or the hands of the high-level Konoha. Of course, this is only Hefeng's personal guess. As for the truth, then the benevolent sees the benevolent and the wise sees the wisdom. Forget it. Hefeng retracted his thoughts and stepped forward. Uchihasera's actions were not just about shooting himself. It's a rebellion. And the evidence is solid. Oneself, between the door, between the pillars. Instantly did not intend to let it go. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, and he also inherited Uchiha Madara's will. Let people like him stay in the village. Sooner or later it is a hidden danger. The most important thing is that what he did has violated his bottom line. Hefeng really couldn't find a reason to bypass him this time. If the news goes out, let everyone know. After the Uchiha clan rebelled, they were still alive and moisturized. After that, wouldn't everyone want to give it a try? This kind of thing must be completely eradicated from the beginning. Kazuka came to Uchihasera and slowly raised the samurai sword in his hand. Cold light suddenly appeared. The blood dropped slowly from the blade. The biting chill engulfed Uchiha Setsuna. Let his breathing begin to become rapid. No, do not want. Suddenly panicked. He never dreamed that he had only disappeared in just a few months. Hefeng's strength has improved so much. At the time of Yu Zhongren's exam, it was totally different. Especially his riding wheel eyes can drag himself into the world of illusion in an instant. Such a powerful force. Advertisement. Let his mentality collapse directly. It's not on a horizontal line at all. The breeze is too strong. Strong is like a monster. Let Setsuna not see the slightest hope. Fair, forgive me, I assure you that the Uchiha clan will no longer have conspiracy. Uchiha's voice was trembling. In the face of the gentle breeze, he finally chose to beg for mercy. I hope that the 7-year-old Hefeng will be able to forgive himself with a little compassion. However, where will Hefeng let go of the moment of rebellion? He raised the katana, aimed it at Setsuna's neck, and swept it fiercely. The speed is so fast that it is inevitable to retreat, and it is inevitable to avoid. His mind then separated from his body, spinning in the air, and the cross-section of his neck gushing like a column. His eyes widened, and he saw the people who were moving with him, all lying motionless in a pool of blood. Now, together with himself, they are all dead in Hefeng's hands. Until this moment, only then did I realize it. How outrageous they want to eliminate the interfaith plan by controlling the wind. These people are not the opponents of the gentle wind at all. However, before this picture comes into view, who can think of it? A 7-year-old child. It would have such a terrifying power. These people, who were born in this world, really don't make up the numbers. Hefeng looked at the corpses in the same place, and couldn't help but complain. In this way, I was easily destroyed by the gentle breeze. More than a dozen ninjas from the Uchiha clan. This is too weak. If he waits for Hefeng to reach adulthood, then his strength is not going to destroy the world. After Shina's head outlined an arc in the air, it slammed heavily on the ground, and then rolled forward several times. His chakra volume is more than all of them combined. The illusion that they used to deal with the wind has now become his weapon. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. In the last few seconds of life, Shisuna fell into an extremely terrible life of doubt. At only 7 years old, he was so strong. Who can imagine? Thump. The breeze can be turned on. Who can believe it? Not only the wooden escape between the pillars, but also the riding wheels of their Uchiha clan. This kind of thing, if you didn't witness it with your own eyes. Chapter 172 Hefeng's Plan, one more. Advertisement. The breeze blows. The pungent smell of blood slowly spread, covering a corner of Uchiha's residence. On the ground, a corpse of the Uchiha clan was lying here and there. Terrible. The 7-year-old Zephyr stood in the middle of this pile of corpses, a little embarrassed for a while. Not because he didn't know how to deal with these corpses. And this was an unexpected situation, and he was not prepared at all. Anyway, writing round eyes is a good thing. If there is a nutrient solution, I can take all these eyes off. Hefeng couldn't help but think to himself. As for the reason why he was not worried about how to dispose of the body, it was because he had just found out when he was using Kagura's mind. A ninja army is quickly approaching here. The chakra of the leader is also very familiar with the gentle wind. Not someone else. It is Chinsho Janjian, now the talker of Konoha Yinkyun. If you didn't guess wrong, it should be the Onbi who was set up in the middle of the story that he noticed the actions of the Uchiha clan and notified him of it. On the one hand, he is the eldest grandson of Zujian, his grandson, and the most powerful successor of Hokage in the future. It is naturally understandable to receive the focus of attention in the interlude. On the other hand, it is said that there is no selfishness, and that the Uchiha clan is monitored for the village. But, why didn't he use the same method to monitor Sarutobi, Shimura, and Hyuga? Why did he set up the police department only for the Uchiha clan? And there are no Sarutobi, Shimura, and Hyuga members to join the police department. Some words, just listen to them. To say that there is no discrimination between the families, and the Uchiha clan is not deliberately excluded. Hefeng is actually not believed. But, thank you so much this time. The corner of Hefeng's mouth rose, and a plan came to mind. In any case, he is the grandson of Shima and Mito. These two people, one is the Thousand Show clan, the other is the Maelstrom clan. In terms of blood, it is impossible to open the eyes of the writing wheel. But, obviously, the writing wheel is opened, but it can't be used. It is too uncomfortable. Looking at the corpse of the person who opened the writing wheel. Advertisement. The breeze was on a whim, and a plan came to mind. A plan that allows oneself to reasonably own the Shillonyan. So, Kazuka walked to Uchiha Setsuna, took a deep breath, and adjusted his breathing, mentality, and emotions. Although in the later period of Naruto, buttoning eyeballs is already a routine operation. But the first time I caught someone's eyeballs, the gentle wind still felt uncomfortable. Before the crossing, I was a medical student, but it was the first time I used such a rude way to catch people's eyes. In the original world, all organs that wanted to be removed from the human body needed various auxiliary tools and carefully cut them. It's not as simple and rude as in Naruto. Especially Uchiha Madara is both plug-and-play operations. In the eyes of medical students like Hefeng, it is not scientific at all. It is against common sense. Click. After a lot of complaints, Hefeng snapped out both Uchiha Setsuna's 2 writing wheel eyes, then took out the scroll on his body, and sealed the writing wheel eyes in. Of course, Hefeng is not really about transplanting Shaolin Yan. As a result, Uchiha Setsuna had no relationship with him, and even if he were transplanted, rejection would probably happen. Secondly, neither he nor himself is a kaleidoscope to write round eyes. It is basically impossible to upgrade the eternal kaleidoscope through transplantation. Thirdly, I am a genuine 3-go jade writing wheel eye, only 2-go jade in an instant. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Any fool can be better. He did this just to create an illusion. I have secretly transplanted Shaolin Yan. In this way, in the future, the writing wheel will be opened in front of the door or between the pillars. There is a reasonable explanation. Although Kakashi and Danzo have confirmed that the transplanted Shaolin cannot be closed by people who are not from the Uchiha clan, but in this era, no one has done such a thing. In other words, in the era of the breeze, no one knows what will happen to someone who is not from the Uchiha clan and transplants the Shaolin. Since everyone doesn't know it, it's over if you can't blow it casually. Even if that person really uses himself to verify. Hefeng can also be prevaricated by the reason that people in human physique cannot be generalized. Do not ask. The question is that my physique is better than you. When Hefeng completed this operation, he used Mu-dun again to ruin Setsuna's face. Create an effect that instantly destroys the face during the battle. On reaching the surface, I couldn't see that the eyes of the writing wheel had been dug out, but after careful inspection, he could find that his eyes had no purpose. According to Hefeng's understanding of the door, it is unlikely that he will not secretly study the corpses of the Uchiha clan. Advertisement. Because during the Fourth World War, I talked to Oshimaru and the others about the principle of round eyes. Even Sasuke, who was from the Uchiha clan, didn't know this kind of thing. If there hasn't been a lot of research in between. Zefeng is unbelief. The most important thing is that to be able to develop the taboo technique of reincarnating from dirty soil, I must have done a lot of research on the human body. Now that I know that I will do this kind of thing in the interim. The Japanese style is laid out in advance. When I find out about it in the future. He can tell it all. I think Shaolin Yan looks very handsome. I want one, can't you? Wait until Hefeng plans for his next step and lays the groundwork for it. With the Onbi ninja in the door, it was long overdue. Hefeng, don't you mind? As soon as he landed in the door, he quickly confirmed the situation of Hefeng. Whether it was his tone or expression, he seemed a little anxious at this time. Okay. However, Hefeng is stunned. You shouldn't ask him this question. Soon, Jian also realized this point. After he looked around, his worried expression turned into a black line in an instant. More than a dozen masters of the Uchiha clan, all fell in a pool of blood. Death is extremely miserable. Even in the blink of an eye, these people have a deadly expression. And the Anbu ninjas who followed him and were ready for battle, at this time, one by one, their scalp numb. There are no ninjas around here. Only Hefeng is here. In other words, these dozens of people from the Uchiha clan. They were all wiped out by the Hefeng group. But is such a thing possible? Is he only 7 years old? Wait, look at it. An Onbi ninja suddenly exclaimed. He pointed to the deadly Uchiha corpse with wide-eyed eyes, and attracted everyone's attention. The eyes of the deceased were astonishingly red pupils, with clear 3-hook jade printed on them. It's writing round eyes. Observing carefully, they found that these people are all geniuses who have opened the eyes of the writing wheel. Chapter 173. I didn't expect them to be so weak. 2 more. Advertisement. It is now 10 years in the Konoha calendar, and only 10 years have passed since the end of the Warring States period. The older ninjas were all people who had been on the battlefield during the Warring States period. And in that era, it was undoubtedly the Senju clan and Uchiha clan, the most frightening. Especially the ninjas of the Uchiha clan. Once the writing wheel eye is opened, the strength will change drastically. Whether it is ninjutsu or illusion, they will see through their writing wheel. For ordinary ninjas like them, meet the Uchiha clan who have a writing wheel. It is undoubtedly the most troublesome and desperate thing. However, more than a dozen Uchiha clan who started writing round eyes. Unexpectedly, he died at Hefeng's hands without exception. This kind of thing is too shocking, right? Looking at the entire ninja world, just the Uchiha clan who opened the eyes of the writing wheel, or all of the upper middle level. And more than a dozen ninja troops formed by the Uchiha clan who opened the eyes of the writing wheel. The strength is self-evident. As a result, they were killed by the group, just because of one person. Still a child who was only 7 years old. Gentle. If this kind of thing is spread, I am afraid no one will believe it. An Onbi ninja rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. In fact, although Hefeng is very strong, he makes very few shots. Except for the 3 actual battles of Troy, Golden Horn and Silver Horn, and Ghost Lantern Moon. Hefeng is basically to compete with others in the exercise field. The only time he showed his strength in front of the public was when he faced the 3 generations of Fengying during the Zongnan exam. Although the battle was an eye-opener to many people, the wind was not very strong at that time. In addition, he and the 3 generations of Fengying are both Sha-Ren identities. Therefore, everyone is preconceived and feels that their strength is just the best in ninja. After all, people who can understand the game are often a minority. As for Troy, he was accompanied by Sarutobi Hizen. At the time of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn, Uchiha Kagami and Frontier Defense led the team to Shinobu Masagawa. Not to mention the Ghost Lantern Moon. The elites of the younger generation in Muyein village, except for the Autumn Road to take the wind, basically all went. And the wind is not a person who eats alone. He didn't enjoy the credit of each mission exclusively. On the other hand, it is also related to the confidentiality policy of Wuyin village. Even the ninjas in Wuyin village don't know what kind of ninjutsu, what abilities, and how strong Ghost Lantern Huan you can be. The ninjas of Konoha Hidden Village were even more unclear. Advertisement. It is said that Hefeng defeated the Ghost Lantern Magic Moon. But for them, there is actually no concept. On the contrary, I feel that I can't even beat a 7-year-old child. The strength of Ghost Lantern Wanyu is not very weak, but it will not be strong there. Based on this and that relationship, these Onbi ninjas more or less thought that Hefeng could become a special kind of ninja, mostly related to the relatives and going through the back door. So when they saw Hefeng alone, they destroyed a Uchiha ninja troop that had a riding wheel eye. These ninjas are all dumbfounded. One person destroyed the Uchiha clan's ninja army. In fact, even these Uchiha clan, when they are about to die, can hardly accept this fact in their hearts. It is precisely because of the shock at Hefeng's strength that they cannot accept and believe it. At last, don't look down. Yes it is. Even when they were dying, they were unbelievable. They are the elites and geniuses of the Uchiha clan. Actually, all will be destroyed in the hands of a 7-year-old child. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This kind of thing is simply shocking and unheard of. The most important thing is that these Onbi ninjas, as soon as they discovered the plans of the Uchiha clan, they immediately informed them. When he heard the news in the interim, he immediately put down his work again and brought his own guards with him, and he felt that Uchiha was stationed non-stop. Less than half an hour before and after. In other words, it started from the Uchiha clan and they arrived here. It didn't even last for half an hour. Hefeng, it was so easy to destroy them. What does this show? This shows that the strength of Hefeng is completely overwhelming. Only a thorough crush can end this battle in such a short time. You know, the one who fell in a pool of blood is not an ordinary ninja. They are all Uchiha powerhouses who have opened up the riding wheel. Even a few of them are the owners of Sango Yushulanyan. To be honest, even a few of us can't solve these people in such a short period of time. For a short time, if it weren't for the masters, I'm afraid we might not have been able to beat them. These people are all the geniuses of the Uchiha clan. Yup, the Onbi ninja talked a lot. Why didn't they act directly after discovering the Uchiha clan's plan to rebel? Instead, he quickly notified the incident. Advertisement. Isn't it because they feel that they can't beat these people? If you are not careful, you will be killed directly by them. The ability to write round eyes is really too strong. As long as you look at each other, even if you only have one glance, you will be dragged into the world of illusion by the ability to write round eyes. Result. Because of their fear, they had to notify the Uchiha clan of this matter before making a decision. In less than half an hour, he was wiped out by the wind. Good guys. These Anbu ninjas are directly good guys. Those who didn't know thought that what was resolved by the wind was just a group of ninja troops with little combat effectiveness. Wait, pay attention to the gentle breeze. Suddenly, another Onbi ninja exclaimed. Because he suddenly discovered that Yori, dressed in a gentle style, was spotless. Not to mention blood stains, there is not even dust. How amazing is this? Wait a minute, doesn't it mean that these Uchiha clan people, from beginning to end, didn't even touch the wind? As soon as this remark came out, the audience was in an uproar. Yup, even if the Uchiha clan played a gentle kick. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Even Chinshojian, who had always been calm and steady, couldn't keep calm at this moment. No, if they weren't very sure, Hefeng had dealt with these ninjas. Between the door, the ninjas who dealt with these Uchiha clan are actually other people. Can you also leave footprints on his haori? It's even so clean that it doesn't fit here. They might wonder if Hefeng happened to pass by. Well. Hikage appeared embarrassed, he couldn't help spreading his hands, and said innocently, neither did I expect that these Uchiha ninjas would be so weak. All Anbu ninjas. Result. Very neat. He took a breath and couldn't help asking about the wind. The gentle haori is clean. These are all Uchiha geniuses who have opened the writing wheel. Hefeng, do you really solve these people? Chapter 174. Fortunately, Hefeng is not Madara's grandson. 3 more. Advertisement. It's not that the gentle wind is deliberately pretending to be coercive. Because these ninjas, known as Uchiha's geniuses, were really crushed by him from start to finish. When he started, he was confident that he wouldn't lose, but he still looked forward to it in his heart. I can fight a fierce life and death battle with these Uchiha clan people. Finally solved them. This is the result. To be honest, just a ninja of this level is useless. It turns out that my current strength is already so strong. Hefeng thought to himself. If you put him in the Naruto Shippuden, I'm afraid it's not going to kill me crazy in the early stage. And after Hefeng said these words lightly, the ninjas present, including Shima, it's all dumbfounded. Silence. The entire Uchiha station fell silent for an instant. These people seemed to be able to hear their own heartbeat. They looked at the relaxed gentle breeze, and then at the tragic corpse on the ground. How strong is the current Japanese style? It took some time even before the shock was relieved a bit. In addition to the strength of the wind, the shocking thing in the door, and the heart of the gentle wind. Faced with so many corpses, if I were replaced by other 7-year-olds, I would have been scared to pass out. But the gentle breeze has a calm face. You know, he didn't just see these corpses, but created so many corpses with his own hands. This kind of thing simply makes Phaegian feel incredible. Isn't the gentle breeze afraid of it? And as a fought against the Uchiha clan countless times, he has a good understanding of the ability to write round eyes. Just look at the writing wheel. Even if only one glance will hit their illusion. Once you have an illusion, you must have teammates to help interfere with chakra's flow. But there is only one person in Hefeng. How did he get rid of the illusion of writing round eyes? Illusion. In fact, Hefeng has already thought of rhetoric about this part. It's very simple, as long as you don't look at them. Hefeng said lightly. As if this is not a big deal. But these words made Feijian startled. What does it mean to not stare at them? Did Hefeng keep his eyes closed and use the Kagura heart eyes to fight these people? That's not true. Hefeng shook his head. I mean, for the owner of Shilunian, as long as you don't look at their faces, you can avoid staring at them. Advertisement. In this way, their illusions naturally cannot be activated. By looking at the opponent's hand and foot movements, we can judge the opponent's attack route, and then counterattack. In fact, this is not a mere humor. But Metke thought of this method. Although he couldn't do it, it was very appropriate to explain how he avoided the illusion of writing round eyes. After all, at this stage, he hasn't been able to tell that he has already started the writing wheel. Judging by the movements of the enemy's hands and feet. The Onbi ninjas looked at each other and started talking. They even tried. As a result, in the process of trying, they realized that he was an understatement. How difficult is it to actually operate? If what young Master Hefeng said is true, what kind of horror does his physical skills look like? This is incredible, without any exaggeration. At this moment, they have become particularly forbearing with the wind. Whether it is due to the relationship between the households and the way of going through the back door, they have been promoted. Self-defeating. Seeing the results today, they thoroughly understood. Why did Master Phaegian promote a 7-year-old Hefeng to be the special forbearer in the village? Without him. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, simply because, the strength of the wind is so terrifying. This battle completely refreshed their understanding of the wind. No, not refresh, but, subversion. Their perception of Hefeng's strength was completely subverted through this battle. Destroy the ninja forces of the Uchiha clan. Unscathed. And before and after, it only took less than half an hour. The shocking place in the door is different from these dark ninjas. He knew the strength of Hefeng in his heart. It's just that he didn't expect the psychological quality of Hefeng. It's not like a 7-year-old kid. It's too cruel. He didn't even keep alive. Even if Hefeng has a slight softness, it is impossible to eliminate these people in such a short time. Even in the Warring States period, I have never seen anyone who can be so decisive as Hefeng. Even on the contrary, although children of this age will be put on the battlefield, they are mostly in a state of weak legs and trembling bodies. At least dozens of fights are needed to develop the current mentality of Hefeng. This kind of mind, this quality. Advertisement. Even between him and the pillars had never happened before. Talent, growth rate, blood following the limit. And psychological quality. The breeze is perfect. Let no flaws be found in the door. Zephyr. It's simply natural Hokage material. Phaegian's heart is actually very clear. These Uchiha clan ninjas, all inherited Uchiha Madaras will. They want to rebel to gain the position of Hokage in the village. It is impossible to deal with these people, nor can it be soft-hearted. I originally planned to use this incident to let Hefeng realize how cruel the ninja world is. Even if it's facing the people in the village. Nor can you be soft-hearted. Anyone who wants to destroy the village is his enemy. Whether it's friends, relatives, children, all have to be solved by hand. To ensure the stability of the village. This is the consciousness and responsibility that a Hokage should have. Just like the eldest brother Zuma, in the Valley of the End, he knifed his best friend, Uchiha Madara. Result. This battle made Phaegian realize that he was thinking too much. Hefeng's killing and cutting was decisive, more ruthless than he had imagined. Hefeng's heart is not only not weak at all, on the contrary, it is also outrageously strong. The most worrying thing in Phaegian is that although Hefeng has strength, his character is weak. In the future, we will repeatedly make concessions in dealing with the village's diplomacy. Constantly compromise. It now appears that my worries are completely unnecessary. Hefeng, this guy is too cruel. Jien returned to reality from the shock, and then waved his hand to signal the Onbi ninjas to clean up the corpse. At the same time, Fei Jian's heart felt fortunate. Hefeng is the grandson of the eldest brother Zujian, it is really great. If this kind of monster was born in Uchiha's family, he inherited Madara's will. I didn't even dare to think about what a terrifying enemy the future Hokage would face. You should feel lucky. I thought to myself in my heart. Because if there is no gentle breeze, Sarutobi Hizen is the future of Naruto. And I would never want to face such a terrible enemy as Hefeng. Chapter 175 Established Konoha Police Department. One more. Advertisement. In order to ensure that the situation will not expand further, all the manpower that can be mobilized will be placed near the Uchiha station to form an encirclement. So that those ninjas who inherited Uchiha Madara's will continue to rebel. At the same time, those ninja corpses that were dealt with by K's were taken away by the Onbi ninja. The work of cleaning the scene naturally fell on their shoulders. As for Hefeng, he was taken back to the Hokage building. In any case, the destruction of the Uchiha clan by the Hefeng group is just the beginning. How to troubleshoot other rebels. How to deal with the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. How to minimize the problems caused by this incident. Or even how to treat the Uchiha clan in the future. These are very difficult issues. Without any exaggeration. This is the most difficult problem that Konoha's senior executives have encountered since the establishment of Konoha Hidden Village. Different from the Battle of End Valley. I thought to myself in my heart. The final battle in End Valley, in the final analysis, is just dealing with the problems caused by Uchiha Madara alone. Regarding the duel, I have been observing secretly. And ready to make up the knife. Because based on his understanding of Zujian, he was really worried, the eldest brother Zujian was at the last moment. Will worry about the bond between him and Uchiha Madara. Thus letting off Uchiha Madara. As a result, what Fei Jian didn't expect was that at the last moment, eldest brother Zujian cut off the bond between him and Madara with his own hands. But this time is different. If it is not possible to properly handle follow-up issues this time, only the Uchiha clan will plant the seeds of hatred. Sooner or later, the next Uchiha spot will appear. This is a situation that I don't want to see in the interim. In particular, for the future Hokage of Konoha Yin Village, he already had a suitable candidate in his mind. Gentle style. Sitting on the chair in the door, with his hands folded to the edge of the table, he leaned forward slightly. He looked at Hefeng. If it were you, how would you handle this incident? In fact, Fei Jian's heart already has the answer. In other words, he already has a plan that he thinks can handle this incident. The reason why he asked, on the one hand, he wanted to see that Hefeng Tool didn't have the thinking to deal with this kind of thing. On the other hand, it is also to get a different choice. After all, although Hefeng is only 7 years old, his performance has never been like a 7-year-old kid. Many times, I feel that Hefeng's thinking is much more mature than the ninjas like Sarutobi Hizen. It can be said that Fei Jian has given great hopes to Hefeng. Advertisement. Hefeng blinked, but he didn't expect to ask for his own opinions with a serious face. I'm only 7 years old. Still a child. Cough. Of course, Hefeng just complained in his heart. Who is in the room? It's his second grandfather. It's my own family. It's impossible to get rid of dissidents. Moreover, I am not an alien. I am the successor of Naruto in the future. Based on this and that kind of relationship, Hefeng felt that Fei Jian should be trying to test his own level through this incident. Thinking of this, Hefeng fell into contemplation. Silence. The atmosphere of the entire Hokage office harmed the silence. Looking at the breeze silently. It depends on that level. Hefeng speaks slowly, expressing some of his views on Uchiha's family and the future policies of the period. Level, what do you mean? Suddenly, there was an interest, and he was curious about what solution Hefeng would say. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Let me talk about this kind of plan first. Hefeng paused and said, establish Konoha Police Department, establish the department and prison together, and then hand it over to the Uchiha clan. They are responsible for the security management of the village. In this way, the power of the Uchiha clan can be integrated and guided. Let them contribute to the village. When Hefeng said this idea, the whole person was suddenly stunned. Because the plan Hefeng said was exactly what he thought in his heart. In fact, it is true. Hefeng is nothing more than a statement of the policies implemented in the interim. It's just that he, who doesn't know the truth, mistakenly believes that Hefeng coincides with him. Then, in the interim, I was shocked again. 7-year-old Hefeng, unexpectedly, coincides with me. In other words, Hefeng, who is only 7 years old, has already possessed the Hokage mindset. I was stunned by what the gentle wind said. For a time, my heart was ecstatic. Then, gentle, he took a deep breath, suppressed his excitement, and continued to ask. Then, the gentle wind took a breath, and his expression became subtle. Advertisement. Then this kind of policy is likely to push the Uchiha clan into the abyss of immortality. In the end, they were ruined. Hefeng pointedly pointed out the failure of this policy. And the whole person became confused. Brutally annihilated. What do you mean? Did your own policy just fail like this? What do you say about pushing the Uchiha clan into the abyss of immortality? He didn't think there was anything wrong with his policy. Is there anything wrong with correctly integrating and guiding the power of the Uchiha clan? What does this mean, gentle? Asked inexplicably. In fact, Kenma does not hate the Uchiha clan, but considers each clan, no matter which clan, as long as it is possible to threaten the village. He will pay attention. It's just that the Uchiha clan who can start the writing wheel. The threat to the village is undoubtedly the biggest one. But his intention was not to destroy the Uchiha clan. It's very simple, handing the police department to the Uchiha clan to be responsible, it is easy for them to become defiant because of their power. The villagers will be afraid of Uchiha's clan for this. Over time, they will only be squeezed out by the village. When that happens, they will probably choose a coup. It's the same as the current rebellion. Hefeng expressed his opinion, it's just that at that time, there will be no doves in the Uchiha clan. But, it's not so much an opinion, it's better to say that these are bloody facts in the future. When that step is reached, I am afraid that the Uchiha clan can only be completely wiped out. This view silenced the room. He carefully analyzed Hefeng's words and found that he couldn't find any flaws. Indeed, in the end, he had to approve of Hefeng's concerns. Perhaps this policy will indeed push the Uchiha clan into the abyss of immortality. As a result, the conflict between the Uchiha clan and the village continued to intensify. Eventually evolved into a greater crisis. While recognizing this, Fei Jian's heart was once again shocked by his gentle thinking. How far in the future have you seen? Or in other words, how meticulous is the gentle thinking? This is really a 7-year-old kid. Can you have the mind? This is too scary. Chapter 176. It's time for happy clocking again, 2 more. Advertisement. Then, what do you think should be more appropriate to deal with this matter? After a moment of silence, he continued to ask. This. Hefeng frowned, and then said his own thoughts. I want to fundamentally solve the problems of the Uchiha clan. First, let them have a sense of belonging. I heard, Grandpa Zuma was the Konoha Hidamura created by a man named Uchiha Madara, right? Hefeng asked back. Now that I have crossed into this era, I have the opportunity to participate in the problems of the Uchiha clan. Hefeng naturally did not want to see that the Uchiha clan once again embarked on a path of tragedy. However, the breeze is also uncertain. Can the method I thought of myself really solve this problem? After all, he was nothing more than a medical student before crossing into the Naruto world. Not a figure such as a politician. It is possible that my own thoughts are just taken for granted. But, what he can be sure of is that the policy in the period is undoubtedly a failure. Even if there is no Kyuubi incident to fuel the flames, the Uchiha clan being squeezed out by the villagers is already a certainty. The suspicion of the turbulent Knight of Nine Tails. It just accelerated the pace of the Uchiha family's coup. Not the culprit of everything. Yeah, nodded, indicating that it was true. Madara Uchiha did have a certain degree of credit for establishing the ninja village. He didn't deny this, he just felt that Big Brother Zuma was more suitable for the role of Hokage than Uchiha Madara. I also heard that Madara Uchiha and Grandpa Zuma had a conceptual disagreement. He hopes that the Uchiha clan can leave Konoha with him. But no one is willing to follow him. Do you know why? In Hefeng's view, the Uchiha clan rejected Madara's proposal because they were tired of war. And a sense of belonging to the village. At that moment, these Uchiha clan recognized the village, not the patriarch Madara. In other words, the only way for the Uchiha clan to completely integrate into the village and escape the limitations of the family. It's the best policy. He fell silent again, and he felt that what Hefeng said made sense. To some extent, this is undoubtedly the best way. It's just that it's easy in theory. It is very difficult to implement. First of all, how to integrate the Uchiha clan into the village is a problem. Advertisement. The final reason is that their blood inheritance boundary is too strong. You know, the Uchiha clan is not unmarried with foreigners. Children born only after intermarriage often awaken to the Shilanyan. And when it comes to writing round eyes, everyone will think of the surname Uchiha. In other words, the label of their family is so famous. Different from 1,000 hands. Only between the pillars and the wind awakened the wooden escape technique. The other 1,000-handed clan, but their accurate control over chakra is more prominent. That kind of policy that encourages intermarriage does not work for the Uchiha clan. No, I mean, let the Uchiha clan enter the top Konoha. Hefeng thought about it for a moment. Of course, this candidate must be a dove member of the Uchiha clan, such as Uchiha Mirror. I think that this rebellion can be used to make the Uchiha clan leader take the blame and resign. Abdicate and let Yun, and Uchiha Kage as the head of the patriarch. At the same time, at the right time, absorb the mirror into the Konoha high-rise. By then, ninjas like Uchiha Kami who can escape the limitations of the family will definitely deal with the problems of the Uchiha clan actively. Hefeng expressed his thoughts. This was originally a policy he planned to implement after becoming Hokage. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Let the Uchiha clan enter the top Konoha. Feijian frowned, he hadn't thought about this kind of thing. Although Uchiha Kami is one of the few ninjas who can escape the limitations of the family, if he is allowed to set this precedent and enter the Konoha high level, it is tantamount to let the Uchiha clan join the Konoha power center. And the plan of the door is to not let them participate from the beginning. Because he still can't trust the Uchiha clan. But I don't think there is any problem with the idea of Hefeng. It's just someone like Uchiha Mirror. Among the Uchiha clan, they are very few. Even in the future, will the Uchiha clan still have ninjas like Kagami? There is no way to be sure. Once such a precedent is set, it is very likely that in the future the Hawks of the Uchiha clan will join the Konoha power center. This leads to a series of problems. This is a situation that I don't want to see in the interim. Therefore, he let Hefeng leave first, and he fell into contemplation. In this regard, Hefeng feels nothing. He just provided an idea, a choice for the door. As for whether he will implement it in the end. Advertisement. The breeze doesn't care. Anyway, oneself will become Hokage sooner or later. If it doesn't work, wait until the day I become Naruto, and then solve the problems of the Uchiha clan. After exiting from the office, Hefeng could not help clenching his fists. Anyway, the worst situation for the Uchiha clan is the extermination. No matter what you do. It will not be more tragic than this ending. Since there is no worries about the future, it is natural to make drastic reforms. And Uchiha Mirror. Follow the normal timeline of Naruto. Uchiha Kami died young when he was 25 years old. If he hadn't died so early, Hefeng felt that the situation of the Uchiha clan might not be the case. Everything, wait until I become Hokage. Hefeng thought to himself. Simply no longer participate in these things. Everyone assumes that this incident has never happened before. After all, Fagian is a deep-seated person in the city. He won't lose his own opinion just because of a few words from others. The cooling time of the check-in system is over. Close black lens bracket. He did not disclose the truth of the Uchiha clan's rebellion. Of course, he did not listen to the opinions given by Hefeng. As a condition, the patriarch of the Uchiha clan will no longer pursue the cause of death of Setsuna and others. It's the happy time to check in again. Hefeng smiled and returned to his room, and started to check in this time. After much deliberation, after more than half a month of work. In this rebellion, a series of methods were used in this way. At the same time, he ordered the Onbi ninja to monitor the Uchiha clan in secret. After hearing the opinions of Hefeng, Fagian did not directly establish a police department this time. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Cold treatment was taken in the door. Whether to check in now. Close black lens bracket. Calmed down. And Hefeng, after this period of time, ushered in a new opportunity to punch cards. Chapter 177 Punch in Rewards, Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken. One more. Advertisement. I don't know what rewards will be offered this time. Zefeng returned to the room and began to punch the card as always. Check-in package is open. Close black lens bracket. All kinds of ninjutsu, blood succession limit, chakra, flashed in front of the wind. Kaleidoscope writes round eyes, kaleidoscope writes round eyes, kaleidoscope writes round eyes. Hefeng turned on the repeater mode, and then quietly comforted himself in his heart that he was still young and it didn't matter what kind of reward he offered. Even if this time is a non-chief, there is still a chance next time. Okay, there are opportunities. Anyway, I'm only 7 years old this year. Then, kaleidoscope writes round eyes, kaleidoscope writes round eyes, kaleidoscope writes round eyes. Open black lens bracket snapped. Close black lens bracket. The picture freezes just after I don't know how many times the wind breaks into pieces. The very familiar voice of gentle breeze resounded in my mind. Congratulations to the host, get Feng Dun Helix Wand Shuriken LV10 from the check-in package. Close black lens bracket. As the white light dissipated, the gentle wind froze on the spot. Although he didn't draw the kaleidoscope that he wanted most this time, the rewards this time were not bad. It turned out to be the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken. Hefeng couldn't help exclaiming in his heart. Wind Escape Helix Shuriken is an advanced ninjutsu of Helix Maru. It was the first S-rank ninjutsu created by Naruto Uzumaki. After all, the ninjutsu in Naruto, the S grade is over, there is no SS grade, and there is no SSR. Otherwise, Hefeng really feels that this ninjutsu can be an SSR. Other ninjutsu is S grade, because other ninjutsu only has S grade difficulty. The Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken is S grade because of the highest difficulty, only S grade. Fengdan Spiral Shuriken is a ninjutsu that combines Fengdan chakra's attribute changes to enhance the power of spiral pills. The shape resembles a shuriken and got its name. Just halfway through the development, it easily destroyed the 2 hearts of Jiaodu. This is because the remaining heart of the horns has the attribute of wind escape, and when it is attacked, it offsets a part of the damage. Otherwise, the corner capital at the time would definitely be killed by Naruto. However, although the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken is powerful, its shortcomings are also very obvious. That's because there is no way to throw it. When it hits the target, the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken will generate a storm of energy. It produces destructive effects irrespective of the enemy in S, causing Naruto's own meridians and bones to be damaged. After using it once, it was directly listed as a forbidden technique by Tsunade. Hefeng remembers very clearly. Advertisement. After all, defeating Kakado with the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken was one of Naruto's bright moments. And the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken, from development to the final decisive battle against Sasuke. Both are Naruto's main output. The strongest ninjutsu is not necessarily the protagonist's unique skill, but the protagonist's unique skill must be the strongest. This is the constant truth. Even Naruto completely completed this ninjutsu after learning the fairy mode. Overcoming the biggest flaw. As for the other weakness, it's probably the consumption of Fengdan Spiral Shuriken. As we all know, when Naruto was 16, his chakra was 4 times that of Kakashi when he was 29. The fairy mode is to merge with natural energy to produce the fairy chakra. Conservatively, it is 8 times that of Kakashi, right? But even in the fairy mode, Uzumaki Naruto can only use 2 shots, which will consume the Shanshu chakra. So, a wind escape spiral shuriken costs almost 4 Kakashi. Good guys. The gentle breeze is a good guy directly. If you think about it this way, if you didn't get the chakra between the pillars at the beginning. Even for him Naruto's unique skills. He didn't dare to use it easily. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, but it is worth mentioning. The wind escape spiral shuriken is a ninjutsu that puts the immortal body under the body. It's not Shanfa, wind escape, spiral shuriken. There is actually a fundamental difference between the two. Thinking of this, Hefeng fell into contemplation. Even if he takes ninjutsu out of the punch card package, the ninjutsu will disappear from the punch card package. There are still thousands of ninjutsu in the punch card package. Plus the blood succession boundary. And all kinds of chakras. I want to draw a kaleidoscope to write round eyes and fairy patterns. I'm afraid there is less than 1 in 1,000 chance. Hefeng couldn't help but think of the original Baman Dunjia. The 8 Dunjia he drew at the beginning were only 5. The 6th is still relying on skill points, and forcibly promoted 1. After that, he always wanted to learn to startle the door. As a result, how many times have I clocked in? Whether it's a surprise or a skill point, I haven't even seen a ghost shadow. Although there is a Mu Yin cure now, it can reduce the damage caused to me by the wind done spiral shuriken. But the problem is, a wind escape spiral shuriken that can't be thrown away. How difficult is it to hit the enemy? Advertisement. As long as the other party is not a fool, he will definitely not stand there honestly and wait for me to fight. Thinking about it, Hefeng couldn't help but think of a possibility. So far, all his ninjutsu has indeed been drawn from the punch card package. But no one said I can't learn ninjutsu. Today's self is strong enough to adapt to the damage caused by Baman Dunjia. Isn't it the reward you get after sweating it out? Correct. Hefeng's eyes suddenly brightened, as happy as he had discovered a new world. You can go to Miamu Mountain and learn fairy skills by yourself. Naruto Uzumaki mastered immortality in only 3 months in Miamu Mountain. Even if my qualifications are not as good as Naruto. In 3 years, you can touch the threshold of immortality, right? How old will I be in 3 years? Only 10 years old. Anyway, staying in Konoha Hidden Village is also waiting. To stay outside is to stay. If you can learn the fairy mode. Improve your own strength. Undoubtedly huge. Stand up from the ground with a breeze. Yes, I'm going to find the door now and tell him I'm going to Miamu Mountain. Think about it, standing on the slug's head. Hefeng thinks about the appearance of the pharmacist, and he feels his scalp is numb. The gentle breeze doesn't like slugs too much. So forget it. Captain Hefeng. It was the Lord Phagian who appointed them to come over here. Sarutobi Hazaki and Shimura Danzo are in the living room of their home. That shot is so handsome, okay. And wet bone forest. Especially Naruto Uzumaki returned from studying at Miamu Mountain. The fairy pattern of Longdadong. As soon as he saw the wind, Sarutobi Hizen greeted him enthusiastically, and then said his purpose of coming here. There is no way to stand on the head of Toad when too handsome. As for why it is Miamu Mountain. However, when he ran out of the room happily, he found it surprisingly. Hefeng nodded and made up his mind. What's wrong with the face in this world? Chapter 178 I seem to know why Danzo reacts slowly, 2 more. Advertisement. After Sarutobi Hizen explained his intentions, Kazuka replaced Haori who was out, and followed them. Along the way, Hefeng had asked Sarutobi Hisaki, and suddenly asked him what was wrong. But the specific reason is not clear even for the day. Hefeng simply didn't ask anything anymore, and silently followed Rizin to find the door. Although I don't know what Phagian wants to do, Hefeng happens to have something to tell Phagian. In a short while, Breeze came to the exercise field he often used. I am holding my hands around my chest, waiting here for a long time. Seeing the gentle breeze came, the corners of his mouth rose, and a smile appeared. It's not a petting smile, it's more like a smug smile. In the middle, proud, Zefeng. Good thing, what would make Zhangjian so proud? You are here, gentle wind. Fei Jian said with a smile. Well, so what's the matter? Hefeng went straight to the subject. Although Hefeng has now made his determination to go to Miamu Mountain, he didn't blurt out in a hurry. In fact, Rizin and Danzo are also curious. I asked them to find the reason why Hefeng came. Soon, Zhangjian took 2 steps forward and came to Hefeng. One hand drooped automatically while the forearm of the other hand was kept level, and then he spread out his palm. Hefeng, you are optimistic. There was a low voice in the door, and the eyebrows became sharp. It is not difficult to see that in the present time, I am very serious. His attention was highly concentrated, as if there was no one around him. Then, he controlled his chakras precisely in the door, and gathered them towards the palm of his hand. The light blue chakras fluttered in his hand like an air current. More and more chakras emerged, and then began to flow in irregular directions. And, getting brighter and brighter. The eyes of Rizin and Danzo were deeply attracted. They are no strangers to this picture. Because of the wind, I have used this ninjutsu more than once. After 2 or 3 breaths, the palms of these chakras turned into chakra balls. Surprisingly, spiral pill, Hefeng blinked, and an incredible look appeared. He really learned it. He is indeed a man known as the god of ninjutsu. Thousands of hands. How is it, gentle? Advertisement. The attention in the door slowly relaxed, but his tone was full of pride. It is not difficult to see that Jian has invested a lot of energy in learning Helix Pill. Fantastic. Gentle breeze. Without waiting for the gentle breeze to respond, he bowed his head and slammed the spiral pill into the ground. Boom. Accompanied by a loud noise, Helix Maru exploded in the hand, and the violent power burst out instantly. Destroy the entire ground layer by layer. The cracks spread to the surroundings and didn't stop until Hizen and Danzo's feet. It looks like a spider web. The diameter is at least about 7 or 8 meters. This is still a matter of time, worried that the destructive power is too great, and did not use all the power to cause the destructive effect. If you use your full strength, the power will only be greater. Undoubtedly, he has now learned the Xuanluoan thoroughly. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. Seeing it in the breeze, he raised his 2 immature hands and began to applaud. Soon, Rizhin and Danzo also followed suit. Bang bang bang. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi happiness. Between the door. Why, it seems like I am a 7-year-old child. So, Grandpa Fagian, you specifically asked Rizhin and Danzo to call me here, just to show me insight. You learned Helix Pill. The wind couldn't help but sucked in a cold breath, and a black line appeared on his face. Because he really didn't expect that he would call himself over for this kind of thing. If it is just to show off, he has learned the snail pill. You can do it when you get home from get off work. Ahem. Upon seeing this, he quickly cleared his throat. At the same time, Fagian's heart can't help feeling depressed. What is going on with this frustration? Is the spiral pill difficult? This is S-rank ninjutsu. However, Jian soon realized why he felt frustrated. Because in my own eyes, Helix Maru is an amazing ninjutsu. But, in Hefeng's eyes, Helix Maru was just a ninjutsu he developed casually. Damn it, if I knew it, I wouldn't do it again. Advertisement. It took a lot of effort to suppress my emotions. Of course not. I asked Rizhin to come to you. There is an important thing. Is it important? Hefeng asked with his head tilted. Yes, do you remember what I told you before? About the principle of spiral pills. After a brief pause, he continued, Helix Maru is just a ninjutsu that takes chakra to the extreme. Although it has the advantage of not requiring seals and great power, but this ninjutsu still has a lot of room for development. That is, inject chakra attribute changes. As soon as the words came out, Sarutobi Hizen was stunned on the spot. As an author who is proficient in the 5 types of escape techniques, Sarutobi Hizen knows what attribute changes are. In his opinion, he wants to add attribute changes to the ninjutsu of Helix Maru. It is as difficult as the sky. In fact, when Sarutobi Hiseki was boring, he also tried to learn the ninjutsu of Helix Maru. However, no matter how hard he tried, there was no way to learn this ninjutsu. Right now, Master Fagian actually wanted to add attribute changes to Helix Pill. It was beyond his expectation. Just Helix Maru itself is already extremely difficult ninjutsu. However, just when Rizhin and Danzo were admired by Fagian, a word in the door almost made them somersault. Although I can't do it. They thought that Fagian had already added attribute changes on the basis of Hefeng's spiral pill. As a result, I didn't expect that Master Fagian could not do it at all. But I think that with your talent, maybe it can be done. Fagian ignored Sun Zan and Danzo and spoke to the wind. Although Hefeng is only 7 years old this year, he is still in my heart. He has long no longer regarded Hefeng as an ordinary 7-year-old child, but as the future Hokage. Anyway, there is no task in the village recently, and it needs to be handed over to Hefeng. It is better to take this opportunity to help Hefeng develop new techniques. If it is possible to add attribute changes to the spiral pill, it can definitely improve the strength of Hefeng. The key is, I am very much looking forward to the addition of Helix pills with varying attributes. Because according to his understanding of ninjutsu, if the attribute changes can be added, then Helix Maru, the power of ninjutsu, will increase a lot. Coupled with the technique of Flying Thunder God, it will definitely make other ninjas frightened. However, these words made Hefeng feel helpless. He really wanted to make a comment. Why, Grandpa Fagian, your thoughts are always half a beat slower than the speed at which I punch the card. Co-author Danzo is slow to respond. Is it inherited from you? Chapter 179. Yes, I can still hang up 3 more. Advertisement. I know this is easy to know and difficult to do, but it's gentle. I have already figured out a way. He noticed the change in Hefeng's expression. Thought he was worried because he had no idea how to join the attribute change, so he began to explain. Fagian's plan is precisely with the help of Shadow Clone. In any case, the art of Shadow Clone is a ninjutsu developed by him. There is a lot of experience on how to use this ninjutsu. Coupled with the fact that the mind itself is one of the best characters in the world of Naruto, it is naturally not worse than Kakashi. The way Kakashi could think of, how could it be unexpected? In fact, the reason why Janjian was able to learn the ninjutsu of Helix Maru in such a short period of time. It is with the help of the Shadow Avatar. Shadow Clone Technique. Rizan and Dan Zhang couldn't help being startled. Yes it is. Fagian nodded and explained further, the Shadow Clone Technique is a kind of entity clone. You all know this kind of thing. The Shadow Clone not only has the consciousness of autonomy, but also feeds back the gained experience and memory to the body when it is released. In other words, the experience that would have taken 2 days to gain can be completed in 1 day by relying on the shadow clone technique. During the talk, there was a deliberate demonstration. He used the technique of shadow clone to create 5 entity clones at once, and then asked everyone to use the spiral pill together. Finally lifted. Look, in this way, I have gained 5 experience using spiral pills. Rijin and Danzo suddenly widened their eyes, as if they had discovered a new world. The technique of shadow clone itself is not a ninjutsu that is difficult to practice. The two of them learned this ninjutsu a long time ago under the guidance of Jian. Doesn't this mean that they can also use this ninjutsu to practice? Theoretically, this is the case. Jian nodded without denying it. But in fact, the person who is most suitable for this kind of cultivation method is undoubtedly a gentleman. He has more chakras than mine, even if it is a forbidden technique like multiple shadow clones, he can also use the wind. For Phaegian, the 5 shadow clones, while cultivating Helix Maru at the same time, is almost his limit. But for the wind, 50, even 500. It's not a problem. This kind of cultivation method is simply tailor-made for harmony. No one is more suitable for this kind of cultivation method than him. Sarutobi Hizen and Shimura Danzo were stunned on the spot. Although they also use the shadow clone technique, it is limited by the amount of chakra. The limit of Sarutobi Hitoshi is 4. Danzo has only 2 limits. Wait a minute, if you say that, isn't Hefeng's cultivation speed several times, or even dozens of times, than ours? Advertisement. Danzo suddenly widened his eyes, looking at Hefeng with an incredible look. This kind of thing makes it difficult for him to accept it. Master Hefeng. And Sarutobi Rishi suddenly realized something. Did you use this method to cultivate before? All along, Hefeng's progress has been far faster than ordinary people. Let Rijin is really incomprehensible. It's almost like opening a plugin. Swipe upgrade. I thought this was a natural gift for the gentle style. It now appears that it is most likely because Hefeng used this method. Come and compress your own practice time infinitely. Although this does have a talented reason. But it was better for Sarutobi Hizen to accept it than to learn this kind of thing at a glance. Because from a certain point of view, even this kind of cultivation method sounds like opening up. It is also a sweat. Progress in exchange for diligence and hard work. It is equivalent to pulling the gentle breeze that has been in the sky to the ground. Make him look more grounded. Even it suddenly dawned on me. He thought that this kind of cultivation method was the first one he came up with. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Now I am reminded by Sun Slash. He felt that Hefeng progressed so quickly that he probably relied on this method. However, facing everyone's doubts, Hefeng shook his head helplessly, his mouth raised, and a wry smile appeared. To be honest, Hefeng does know this method. Because Naruto used this method to compress a feat that should have taken more than 10 years to a few months. Wind escape spiral pill is. The fairy mode is also. I have never used this method. Take a breath from the corner of the wind mouth. It's not because he has a clock in system, so he doesn't want to spend his time on such things. In fact, Hefeng has always been a hard worker. Even if there is a punch card system, he also conducts devil training every day. To strengthen your body. And the reason why he didn't use this method to cultivate is simply because he forgot. After all, Hokage has more than 700 episodes. Not every detail can be easily recalled. Now that he was reminded in the interim, he thought that there is still this way. Advertisement. At the same time, this also strengthened Hefeng's determination. The determination to go to Miaomu Mountain. Yes, I can also use this method to compress the time spent learning fairy mode. Hefeng can't wait to slap himself. Why did I forget it? It only took Naruto 3 months to learn the fairy mode. But it's not just because of his talent. But, he has been using the shadow clone to hang up. The key is, Naruto at the time could not easily use 9-tailed chakra, so the number of his shadow clones was not very large. But I'm different, I have a chakra between pillars. In terms of chakras alone, my chakra between pillars is comparable to the tail beast. In other words, Kazu felt that he might be able to use a shorter time than Naruto. Learn the fairy mode, and once I learn the fairy mode, my strength will undoubtedly be greatly improved. Thinking of this, Hefeng's mood became excited. On the contrary, Feijian and others became depressed. They thought they had discovered the secret of gentle wind. Result, he admitted it without even thinking about it. No, it's less than 5 years. Can it be shortened further? It must be Hokage. Wait, so, my grandson Hefeng is indeed a monster. Now it seems, 8-year-old Hokage. Well, this is not the same as saying that he has a terrifying cultivation speed. It's just that Hefeng maintains its current growth rate, and he is sure that Hefeng will not come out for 10 years. And judging from his reaction, I couldn't help but think of the flashy thoughts before. What kind of monster is he? Perhaps, such a thing as 8-year-old Hokage could really happen to Hefeng. Hefeng has never used this method to practice. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Suddenly stunned. As a result, how fast can Hefeng grow? If Hefeng is telling the truth. Chapter 180 actually let Hefeng do it one more. Advertisement. In short, do what I said first, use the shadow clone technique, and then. Under the strong pressure of the door, he was shocked by the fact that Hefeng might become the 8-year-old Hokage, and then took a deep breath, focusing on guiding Hefeng to add attribute changes to Helix Maru. But who knows, only halfway through the conversation, he was interrupted by Hefeng waved his hand. Don't be so troublesome, I'm done. Hefeng's tone was rather helpless. It's really not that he always wants to be shocked. But, the reaction is always half a beat, always hitting the muzzle. What can he do? Hefeng is also very desperate. Even if it is earlier. However, Hefeng is just complaining in his heart. In fact, he also understands that Janjian's status is special now. Although the Hokage of Konoha Hidden Village is still Senjuan. But because he is terminally ill, he is not suitable for labor. All the big things and little love in Muyein Village fell on the shoulders of the door. Especially some time ago, the Uchiha family tried to rebel. Even though he was suppressed by his own mistakes, a single stone stirred up waves, causing ripples in the village. It took quite a lot of energy to calm the matter down. I have been busy until now, and only have time to guide the cultivation of gentle wind. And Fei Lei Shen has been mastered by the wind. As for the remaining unique skills, they are all forbidden. All that naturally came to mind, helping Hefeng complete the attribute changes of the spiral pill. However, what made Feijian never dream of was, Hefeng said he was finished. And many more. Finished. What has been done? He rubbed his eyes vigorously, and seriously doubted whether he had worked too hard, and hallucinations appeared. Or, the picture in front of you is not the real world. Is it a dream? Myself. Haven't woken up yet. Of course it is the addition of chakra attribute changes in Helix Maru. Hefeng said with an innocent look. What? This time, it was not only the case, but even Rijin and Danzo spoke in unison, and then patted his ears, and began to wonder if there was something wrong with his hearing. It's just the ninjutsu of Helix Maru. The difficulty is already very exaggerated. As a result, Hefeng now says that he is already in the spiral pill and has added attribute changes. Just kidding. Is what you said true? Advertisement. Rolling his throat between the door, even his voice trembled a little. Because of this incident, it was really shocking. From time to time, I still remember clearly that it has only been a month since I proposed to Hefeng the idea of adding attribute changes. Even from that day onwards. How long has it been until now? Has Hefeng successfully added attribute changes to it? The most important thing is that he has been taking care of Tsunade during this period of time. The time he came, the ninjutsu research. Moreover, Hefeng just said in person, he didn't use the shadow clone technique to speed up his cultivation. I only felt a bit collapsed in my mentality. You know, I used the method of shadow avatar to compress time, and it took a few months to learn the spiral pill. Not only that, I also tried to add attribute changes. Not to mention the addition of attribute changes, just maintaining the chakra form of the spiral pill is already very difficult. It is no exaggeration to say that it is precisely because I feel that I have no hope of success, so I pin my hopes on Hefeng. Even Janjian is ready to fight a protracted battle. 1 year or 2 years. 3 years and 5 years. 10 years and 8 years. As long as this ninjutsu can be completed in the end, it is success. Result. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Hefeng suddenly said that he has. The success function is in the spiral pill. Has the injection attribute changed? Just kidding. How long is this? I just felt my brain blank, and my ears buzzed. No matter how shocking the world is, there must be a limit. This guy is really unreasonable. Rijin and Danzo looked at each other, as if they were being swept by a tornado in the sea. The waves were rough and could not be calm for a long time. If what Hefeng said is true, then he is too scary. No, it's not right. Soon, he shook his head and suppressed his emotions. He felt that what Hefeng said might be different from what he understood. In any case, Hefeng is a 7-year-old child. Even now, he has not really come into contact with the ninjutsu of attribute changes. Maybe it was because of the cognitive relationship that made Hefeng mistakenly believe that he had achieved the achievement of adding attribute changes to the spiral pill. But in fact, the skills he completed, and the skills he understood. It is very likely to be completely different. Thought of here. Advertisement. Jian nodded contentedly, as if to find a very reasonable explanation for this matter. Want to come too? Hefeng is only 7 years old this year. How can you know so much? It must be a misunderstanding. It must be a misunderstanding. Because this fact is so shocking that I can't help but hypnotize myself in my heart. This is not true. This is not true. Hefeng was a little bit dumbfounded for a while, watching the reaction in the door. But I think about it, injecting attribute changes into the spiral pill, even the 4 generations of the genius of the Hokage wave Fengshauman, have not been able to complete. As smart as Kakashi, I had to give up the spiral pill and developed Rage instead. This shows how difficult this ninjutsu is. Now I have done what 3 generations of talents have accomplished in only 1 day. It is inevitable that Jian will be shocked to doubt life. Hefeng thought to himself. Anyway, let me take a look at the ninjutsu you mentioned. He took a breath and recovered his calm. Sarutobi Hizen and Shimura Danzo also held their breath at this time, not even daring to blink their eyes. Staring at the wind intently. Their hearts are very contradictory. On the one hand, they look forward to the technique of peace. On the other hand, they don't want to believe that Hefeng's talent will be so outrageous. Well, the shadow avatar technique. I saw Hefeng's hands nodded. Bang. Start to inject property changes. Then, all stood blankly on the spot. In the spiral pill, add chakra attribute changes. Wind escape spiral shuriken. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at Hot MTL novel for free. Only this time, it was not just Hefeng who completed ninjutsu alone. Shimura Danzo. With a sound, a cloud of white mist spread beside him, with a physical clone in the center. Then, in full view, Hefeng raised his right hand, condensed chakra toward his palm, and rotated it. Brother, what kind of monster did you give birth to? Sarutobi recut. Hefeng actually did it. It is a milky white chakra ball, and on the edge of the chakra ball, there are sharp spikes protruding like a blade. The shadow clone on the side slowly raised his hands, aligning his palms at the chakra made by the Hefeng body. Thousands of hands. The chakra became brighter and brighter, and it was no longer the light blue chakra ball like the spiral pill. It's just